Chapter 46. Happiness came too suddenly. Su Yiyan did not expect that after working so hard for 3 days to make the medicinal cuisine, the favorability points she earned from carving a flower was not as much as the favorability points she earned. However, this was understandable. No matter how good the medicinal cuisine was, there were only a few people who could enjoy it. Moreover, no matter how well others boasted about it, most people who had not experienced it personally would have a certain degree of skepticism in their hearts. On the other hand, this flower carving had already given them a huge impact just from the visual aspect, not to mention the other aspects. Su Yiyan listened to the crisp sound of her favorability points soaring in her head. She glanced at the comments on the screen that were shouting for her to carve another one. She picked up the remaining larger red heart carrot and with a few swishes, she carved another bud. It looked bigger than the previous one, but it looked more like a rose bud. Her speed was 2 to 3 minutes faster than the previous one. Then, without waiting for the audience to sigh, Su Yiyan took out another carrot from the fridge. The knife flew up and down, carving a wooden stake that looked like a pine tree branch and a slightly longer branch. Then she recycled the green skin of the red heart carrot and carved a few small and cute green leaves. Finally, she glued the flower and leaves together with a toothpick and fixed them on the wooden stake. One flower hung on the branch, while the other fell on the edge of the wooden stake. It looked as beautiful as a painting. Su Yiyan looked at it and felt that something was missing. After pondering for a moment, she took out a ball of dough that was left over from fermentation and kneaded it into a flat ball. After carving it a little, she fixed it behind the wooden stake. The round ball looked like a crescent moon hanging in the sky. With the red flowers and green leaves on the branch, it looked even more artistic. If they had only seen a flower before, the audience could still barely maintain their calm and type out the word F***ck. Now that they saw a complete carving, the audience could only rely on their instincts to type out the word F***ck. Through the screen, Su Yiyan could imagine the audience's current expressions and their uncontrollable screams. The corners of her lips could not help but curl up. After another round of spam, the rewards in the live streaming room also reached a peak. Su Yiyan roughly glanced at the pop-up screen. Most of the comments were praises and recognition of her knife skills. There were even a few people asking if this carving could be used as a lucky draw or sold directly. They were willing to pay for it. Su Yiyan stared blankly for a moment before she laughed in spite of herself. If you guys really like it, this finished product can be given to the lucky audience along with the other 2 medicinal cuisines. But after all, it's only a carving. If you want to eat it, you'd better steam it yourself when you get back. Before Su Yiyan could finish his words, he was condemned by many people. Host, are you a devil? How could he bear to eat such a beautiful thing? That's right. This is a work of art. We should find a way to preserve it. Su Yiyan. Alright, as long as you guys are happy. Then today's carving will end here. If there's a chance next time, I'll carve a bird for you all to see. Su Yiyan was just saying it casually. Who would have thought, bird? I suspect that the host is driving, but I have no evidence. What evidence do you need? I'll help you prove that the host is driving. It's good that you know. Why did you have to say it out loud? The person above is smiling too wretchedly. Get out. Chapter 47. Su Yiyan's expression froze for a moment. She opened her mouth to explain, but she realized that there were people taking advantage of the opportunity to broadcast a matchmaking advertisement. Host, do you still need a boyfriend? Graduated from a famous university, own property, company, savings of XX million, are you sure you don't want to consider? You want to win the host's heart with XX million in savings? Who gave you the courage? Host, look at me, my annual salary is $1 million, I have 7 or 8 chain stores under my name, I have a house, I have a car, and I even have free shipping. What's wrong with that? A good gourmet livestream was forcefully turned into a matchmaking livestream. All kinds of flattery were just to gain the host's favor. Su Yiyan? Just focus on the livestream, what are you all thinking? Before she could react to this sudden situation, she saw the livestream was suddenly flooded with a large amount of red special effects. Congratulations to host Yen for receiving 9,999 roses from a loyal viewer, Mulberry Yusu. It means forever and never to be separated. Congratulations to host Yen for receiving a luxurious villa from a loyal viewer, Mulberry Yusu. It has been detected that Mulberry Yusu has tipped enough money in the live stream to reach the upgrade requirement. It has automatically advanced to the host's Silver Guardian. The matchmaking discussion in the live stream came to an abrupt end. A few seconds later, the marriage-seeking people who were the happiest before jumped out again, and the words they typed were quite sour. It's just a villa, I can afford it. Wait, I'll send a few sets to the host now. As soon as this message was sent, the live stream was once again flooded with gifts, but the person who sent this gift was not the viewer who left the message, but the person who was jealous. Congratulations to host Yen Yen for receiving 10 luxurious villa from a loyal viewer, Mulberry Yusu. Congratulations to host Yen Yen for receiving 520 giant oil tankers from a loyal viewer, Mulberry Yusu. Congratulations to host Yen Yen for receiving 9,999 roses from a loyal viewer, Mulberry Yusu. Congratulations. Detected that Mulberry the Mountain has reached the level requirement. Automatically upgraded to become the golden guardian of the streamer room. The densely packed rewards made the sour lemon spirit choke. After a long while, she finally choked out a sentence. Boss, you win. Goodbye, QAQ. Hua Jinyao snorted in disdain as she stroked her stupid dog's head. If you want to compete with me in terms of wealth, you're all trash. Even with this, he still wanted to steal his woman. Did he really think he was a pushover? Hua Qinhuan's reward was not small. According to the rules of the website, small rewards would be broadcasted in the live broadcast room, medium rewards such as cruise ships would be broadcasted in a single channel, and big rewards such as villas would be broadcasted all over the internet. Hua Qinhuan had smashed 11 villas in one go, almost occupying all the broadcast spots. She had also pushed Su Yiyen's live streaming room to the top of the daily donation list. Inevitably, it attracted a lot of new viewers. Watch the rich person. Watch the rich person +1. Tisk TSK. 11 villas. This rich person must be rich. Chapter 48. There were all sorts of crazy comments in the live stream, and some of the old viewers who had been following Su Yiyen for the past 2 days were a little excited when they saw her. Ha ha, the number one daddy is unhappy, so he's making a big move. I knew that with the live stream today, the number one daddy would come out sooner or later. After all, the number one daddy is our host's true love. Number one daddy, as long as I don't fall, all of you will still be concubines. All of you back off. Hua Qinhuan's dazzling 520 diamond ring when she first came to the live stream was still fresh in the minds of many people. Her appearance now inevitably led to a wave of ridicule. Su Yiyen was angry and amused at the same time when she saw these gifts. Although she had signed a 60-40th split with the platform, it was still 40% after all. This prodigal man. However, it was undeniable that although the girl said that it was a waste of money, in reality, she was completely defenseless against such sugar-coated bullets. At a place where the camera couldn't capture, Su Yiyen's mouth unconsciously hung high, announcing her good mood at that moment. Everyone stop giving gifts and stop discussing whether he's a boyfriend or not. I'm married. If you do this, my husband will be jealous. Su Yiyen's words were as powerful as an atomic bomb, and it blew up the people who were still making a big fuss on the screen. The host is married? Her voice is clearly very young. How did she get married so early? Yeah, and the host doesn't have a diamond ring on her hand. Could she be lying to us? Is the person above stupid? Why would the host lie to us about this? Doesn't she know that many of the viewers are fans of single people? Being married is a sensitive identity that can easily cause fans to lose their fans? Fans of single people? These days, fans of a host have to care if she's single or not. Wake up, we're fans of a host who doesn't show her face. We're fans of her cooking. I'm a fan of her hands. I'm a fan of her voice. I'm a fan of her voice. Honest people don't resort to insinuations. I'm a fan of her knife skills. I don't care if she's married or not. As long as she can cure my period, I'll be her die-hard fan. The speaker didn't mean it, but the listener did. While the viewers in the live broadcast room were discussing Su Yiyen's marriage, Hua Qinhuan's attention was focused on the question of the diamond ring raised by a certain viewer. He was too careless. How could he have missed such an important thing? Is Hermes free these days? Zui Yanbai understood and said, when Mr. Hermes found out that young Master and Miss Su are getting married next month, he specially set aside a month's time. Hua Qinhuan's brows furrowed slightly. This was something that everyone else could think of, but as the person involved he felt conflicted because of that inexplicable struggle. Tell him to try his best to rush out an engagement ring within half a month. Zui Yanbai's eyes flickered. He nodded and said, okay, I'll contact him later. Also, come up with a proposal. Zui Yanbai was slightly taken aback. You mean, I made a promise to Yen Yen's father. Whatever others have, Yen Yen will have. Of course this included a marriage proposal. Zui Yanbai nodded knowingly. I understand. Huo Chenhuan rubbed Dundan's furry and fleshy neck. His fingers constantly shuttling through the hair had already revealed his inner expectations. Chapter 49. Dun Dun felt disgusted, but he didn't put up a fight. It couldn't be helped. After all, he was the dog that his master had blindly found for him. What else could he do? He could only spoil him. Puppy Daddy Hua, who had no idea that he was being despised by his dog, was still looking forward to the scene of him proposing to Su Yayan. Suddenly, a bullet screen popped up and successfully made his face turn dark. A married woman is still acting coquettishly on a live streaming platform. Does your husband know that you're such a slut? B*TC. What a joke. The pure and innocent girl in the entertainment area next door didn't even give as much as the big shot here. Who would believe that she has nothing to do with this big shot? Does your husband know that you're selling your body to make money for the family? A new streamer who's only been streaming for 3 days is now #1 on the donation list. Is this the distortion of human nature or the decay of morality? Anyone who's been in the live streaming area for a long time knows that people who can give out millions of yuan in donations are mostly related to the trade of their bodies. Other streamers wouldn't dare to be so brazen even if they wanted their sponsors to give them money. I don't know if this person is brainless or really fearless. She's so desperate for fame that she doesn't even dare to show her face. She'll be exposed sooner or later. For some reason, a large group of sarcastic keyboard warriors suddenly appeared in the live streaming room. At first, they were just wretchedly fantasizing about the relationship between Su Yiyan and the #1 on the donation list. Later they began to attack Su Yiyan's appearance. Every time they opened their mouths they would say, "She must be ugly to not dare to show her face." Their solemn expressions made it seem as if they had all crawled along the screen and seen Su Yiyan with their own eyes. The audience who were watching the live stream couldn't help but frown when they saw these comments. Those who couldn't stand it any longer started to argue with these people on the spot. However, this group of people seemed to be very experienced in defaming someone. No matter how others argued with them, they still refused to let go of Su Yiyan. They swore to pin the bad reputation of being a kept woman on her head and completely strangle her in the cradle. Su Yiyan was busy rummaging through the cabinets to find the Hua buds when the commotion in the live broadcast room started. She did not notice that someone was wantonly smearing her reputation. When Huo Chenhuan saw this, her eyes turned cold and she started scrolling through the screen. Congratulations to the host, Yen Yen, for receiving 10 luxurious and exquisite villas from a loyal viewer, Mountain Yusu. Congratulations to the host, Yen Yen, for receiving 20 luxurious and exquisite villas from a loyal viewer, Mountain Yusu. The more the keyboard warriors who stirred up trouble scolded Su Yayan, the more he would reward them. All kinds of large-scale special effects began to dance in the live broadcast room, directly blocking the dirty words that dirty people's eyes. No one had expected things to turn out this way. The keyboard warriors who had come looking for trouble were collectively dumbfounded. Normally, when one was being questioned, shouldn't they try their best to explain and make things worse? Or they might as well just walk away to prove their innocence. Why was this person getting more and more arrogant? She didn't play by the rules at all. That wasn't all. Huo Chenhuan noticed that after a few rounds of smashing, the bullet screen suddenly became empty. Su Yiyan also hadn't found anything. She noticed the things on her side and asked in return, "Why did you stop?" Continue. Chapter 50. These words were simply a blatant provocation. However, the keyboard warriors who were directly ridiculed by the big boss could not help but feel their scalps go numb. Their purpose in coming to this live broadcast room was, on the one hand, to sow discord between the host and the audience, and on the other hand, to confuse the passers-by who clicked in later. As the saying goes, 3 people make a tiger. They had been here for a long time, and the passers-by who did not know anything would have a bad first impression of the host. Some fans of other hosts might be filled with righteous indignation because of this, unable to accept that their fans were suppressed by this kind of person, and instantly turned against them. They had used this method to defeat countless new hosts, but who would have thought that they would be defeated in such a small live broadcast room? This person did not turn against them, but instead increased the amount of rewards received by the other party by several times. She steadily topped the battle rankings, leaving the other hosts far behind, and took the lead. However, the culprit who caused all this with just one sentence made them extremely angry, but they did not dare to act rashly. Everyone who had seen Huo Qinhuan's ruthlessness in throwing money did not doubt the authenticity of his words. Their employer wanted to suppress them, but in the end, after suppressing them for a long time, not only did nothing happen to the other party, but she also soared higher. Whose fault was this? Just like this, the keyboard warriors who were halfway through their attacks were scared off by Huo Qinhuan's words. At this time, Su Yiyan finally returned with a small bouquet of rosebuds from Aunt Li. Looking at the conspicuous sentence on the blank screen, she said blankly, "Continue what? What were you guys talking about just now?" Her words seemed to have turned on a certain switch, and the bullet screen in the live broadcast room once again became dense like flowing water. However, this time, everyone's tone was almost the same as Huo Qinhuan's. All kinds of cutesy flattery stacked on top of each other, and it seemed that she, the host, was left out. Su Yiyan? What was going on? She had only left for a while. How did she fall out of favor? Unfortunately, the special effects of the rewards had already passed. Su Yiyan only saw the number of people in the live broadcast room skyrocketing again, but did not see the value of someone on the reward list soaring. Therefore, she missed the best opportunity to discover the truth of someone's squandering. "I'm sorry. Because it was an impromptu idea, it took some time to find the materials. Let's get back to the main topic. Next, we are going to make rose motherwort tea. The main ingredients are very simple. There are only 2 roses and motherwort. Of course, if you have a sweet taste, you can consider adding some honey." Roses? Flowers can be cooked and eaten? Of course. Roses can not only be used to make tea, but they can also be used to make biscuits. Biscuits with the fragrance of fresh flowers can make people cry just by smelling them, let alone eating them. I'll show it to you next time when I have the chance. Today we'll make a simple tea. Su Yiyan said as she washed the 2 items and filtered out the impurities. Then she put them into the pot and boiled them. Those who watched my live stream yesterday should know that motherwort can improve blood circulation and regulate menstruation. It also has a certain effect on dysmenorrhea. However, it tastes a little bitter, so it doesn't taste good when cooked. It needs to be paired with other ingredients. Chapter 51. The words beautifying and nourishing one hit the soft spot of most girls. In an instant, countless female viewers were clamoring on the bullet screen. They were asking if Su Yiyan's beautifying and nourishing one's skin was real, and if it would be given away for free later. Could they just buy it directly? Su Yiyan couldn't help but laugh. The things I made today will be given away for free later. Since the host is only one person and has limited energy, the items in the live broadcast room are temporarily not available for sale. I hope everyone can understand. As soon as this was said, the viewers were disappointed but also eager to be one of the lucky ones. Seeing that Su Yiyan didn't notice the annoying episode just now, Huo Qinhuan couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. She said in a low voice, "Can't these black accounts that are stirring up trouble everywhere be banned or banned?" Zui Yanbai was slightly startled. "Are you referring to Miss Su's live broadcast room or the entire website? If it's the entire website, it needs to be handled by the website's technical staff. If you just want them to stay away from Miss Su's live broadcast room, you only need to become the network administrator of Miss Su's live broadcast room. The network administrator has the right to ban them from the live broadcast room. If we don't ban these black bugs who are stirring up trouble everywhere, are we going to let them harass others and condone malicious competition?" These little tricks could deceive the naive viewers, but how could they escape Huo Qinhuan's discerning eyes? However, these people had to be banned, and Su Yiyan's live broadcast room's administrator had to be Zui Yanbai. Huo Qinhuan remembered that Yu Zian had mentioned before that if one wanted to be an administrator of a live broadcast room, they had to get the host's permission. Her eyes flashed and she immediately gave Yu Zian a call. At that time, Yu Zian had just heard that a large number of fake reviewers had appeared in Su Yiyan's live streaming room. When he received Huo Qinhuan's call, his first thought was, "It's over." On the first day of the future young madam's live broadcast, young master had asked him to personally keep an eye on her. Who would have thought that there would be a problem on the 3rd day? Was it too late for him to apologize with his life now? Despite his fear, Yu Zian still picked up the phone with trepidation. "Young master, you don't have to give me dirty tricks for the lucky draw later." "Ah." Yu Zian was stunned for a while before he reacted. "Then, next time. Just this once." All right. Yu Zian hurriedly agreed. "Do you have any other instructions? Do you know how to deal with the people who were talking about Yan Yan in the live stream? What else could they do? Of course they could only seal it." I know. I'll get the technicians to deal with it." We won't let any fish escape the net. For the sake of his own safety, he would have all the technicians work overtime tonight. The technician. Who did we offend? Huo Chenhuan was satisfied with Yu Xian's cooperation and did not pursue the matter further. At this time, Su Yiyan's soup and tea were almost ready. After the rose motherwort tea was boiled over high heat, the fire was turned off, and the pot was covered for 5 minutes. The moment the lid was opened, the rich fragrance of roses rushed out and engulfed the entire live broadcast room in no time. Many viewers who were paying attention to the pot of tea were jolted awake, and their sleepiness disappeared. Chapter 52. Many people couldn't help but laugh when they saw this, including Su Yiyan. Tea brewed from roses. If it wasn't the aroma of roses, could it be something else? Su Yiyan carefully poured the tea from the pot into a large bowl, then took out 3 transparent glass bottles and poured the tea from the bowl into them one by one. Inside the transparent glass bottles, the clear, light-colored tea swayed slightly, bringing out the faint fragrance of roses, which instantly captured the hearts of most of the girls. The amount of motherwort in this tea is quite heavy, so it's best to drink it for people who are about to have their menstrual period and whose blood and qi are stagnant, so the effect is better. This way, not only can it reduce the pain of menstrual period, but it can also expel some unnecessary dirty things from the body. Also, take note that it's not suitable for women who are already having menstrual periods or pregnant to drink this. When Su Yiyan said this, some people were happy while others were sad. However, after knowing the use of this tea, more people became interested in the other soup. Su Yiyan didn't let them wait too long. After pouring the rose tea, she lifted the lid of the casserole beside her. The pork bones and seahorses that had been simmering for more than an hour were already quite tasty. The moment the lid of the casserole was lifted, the unique fragrance of dried seafood and the fragrance of the pork bone marrow mixed together in the soup, making people salivate. Oh, this soup smells so good. It smells even better than the pork bone soup in the special restaurant next door. With this smell, I can drink 2 bottles of nutrient solution. I'm crying because I only have nutrient solution to drink. Ordinary pork bones cost 1,000 yuan, and the processed ones in the restaurant cost 3 or 4 times more. It's equivalent to a month's salary for an ordinary person, not to mention the dried soup. However, none of the ones I've smelled before are as fragrant as this one. I'm begging for God's favor and let me try it when I win a prize. Many people had this idea. Not to mention the effects of this thing, just the ingredients in the soup were enough to make them yearn for it day and night. After Su Yiyan finished seasoning the soup, she looked up and saw the screen full of people asking to win a prize. After being stunned for a moment, he couldn't help but laugh. I've said before that this is a soup that can improve a man's hidden illness. The seahorse in it can nourish the kidney and strengthen the yang, reduce inflammation and relieve pain. The bone marrow in the pig dragon bone can nourish the kidney and replenish the essence. When the two are stewed together, cough cough, it has a very good aphrodisiac effect. For premature ejaculation patients, it has an unexpected effect. Su Yiyan was still an unmarried maiden in both her lives, so she was a little embarrassed to talk about this. However, most people did not notice her slight awkwardness. Instead, they focused on the effect of the soup. As soon as Su Yiyan finished speaking, she realized that the number of comments in the live stream had decreased by more than half. She was shocked and immediately looked at the number of viewers in the upper right corner. Not only did the number of viewers not decrease, but it was also increasing rapidly. So, these people were all stunned by his bold and explicit words? After about 10 seconds, Su Yiyan saw a message appear on the screen. Aphrodisiac? Early ejaculation? Hehe, I'm still young and full of energy. I don't need that. Yes, we're fine. 7 times a night is not a problem. We don't need this stuff. Chapter 53. Su Yiyan's face turned red from his own explicit thoughts. He coughed lightly, barely suppressing the heat on his face, and said with a smile, "Since most people don't need it, let's give it to those who need it. Next, let's draw a prize. 3 lucky viewers will each get the seahorse keel soup and rose motherwort tea, and 1 lucky viewer will get the carving of flowers." The 3 prizes were drawn separately. First, the flower tea and carving products were drawn, and the seahorse keel soup was drawn last. The first 2 prizes were not bad. The winners successfully attracted a group of jealous people's verbal attacks. 1 or 2 of the more arrogant ones even showed off on the bullet screen. Of course they were besieged. When the last prize was drawn, 2 familiar IDs appeared among the 3 people. Congratulations to the IDs, Big, golden gun I won't fall, the most handsome guy in the universe, for winning a portion of seahorse keel soup. Please check. Su Yiyan found the first two IDs a little familiar after reading them. He thought for a while and remembered them. Weren't these two the two fierce men who said they were young and could do it 7 times in one night? Su Yiyan was not the only one who noticed this. The masses with sharp eyes also noticed. When these people saw the two IDs, their first thought was, F***ck trash dog men. Their mouths said they didn't want it, but their bodies were very honest. Some people who also needed it but didn't get it directly mocked the two in the bullet screen. Didn't they say they didn't want it? Hurry up and give it up. The two of them. The two of them were excited and secretly sent their addresses to Su Yiyan. Then, faced with the ridicule on the screen, they refused to respond and vowed to play dead until the end. Su Yiyan roughly understood what was going on after seeing the ridicule on the two people on the screen. He held back his laughter and said, "To the few lucky viewers who have just drawn, please send me your addresses as soon as possible. I will immediately send out the prizes. Today's live broadcast will end here. Thank you for your support. See you tomorrow." After Su Yiyan finished speaking, he took one last look at the number of viewers in the upper right corner of the live broadcast room, which had already exceeded 6 digits. He then happily closed the live broadcast room. Huo Chenhuan, on the other hand, stared at the list of winners and said gloomily, "Didn't you say that we can only pick female characters? What's going on with these people in the last round?" When Yu Zian received another call from Huo Chenhuan, he was also a little confused. He hurriedly flipped through the information of the winning IDs and broke down. "Young master, these are indeed female accounts. Female role? At least when they registered their accounts they chose to be female." Huo Chenhuan. She had forgotten about that. Also, I just looked through the back-end data for the lucky draw and found that most of the participants were male accounts. In other words, it was because they had set Su Yiyan's live stream beforehand that only female accounts could be selected. That was why they were able to pick up a few female accounts from a large number of male accounts, allowing them to pick up such a huge advantage. Huo Chenhuan. What a miscalculation. Yu Zian also felt that this matter was quite dramatic. Who would have thought that a man would specially register a female account to participate in the lucky draw? With these few IDs, it was obvious that he was not a decent man. So, you really can't blame me for this. Huo Chenhuan was already gloomy. When she heard this, she was like a barrel of gunpowder that had been ignited. If I don't blame you, then should I blame myself? After she finished speaking, she did not wait for Yu Zian's response and directly hung up the phone. Chapter 54. After Su Yiyan ended the live broadcast and gave away the items, she went out with her brother, who was already waiting outside. As soon as he got into the car, he received a private message from the chief boss of the live streaming room. "Mountain the future, you there?" "Yin, yes little brother." "Goodly." JP, Huo Chenhuan narrowed her eyes as she stared at the words "little brother" on her phone screen. Her expression was dangerous and her chest felt stifled. His fiancée actually called someone else little brother. Although the person being called was him, he still felt that something was not right. In her anger, Huo Chenhuan typed a reply that even she did not expect. "Mountain the future, I'm a girl." Su Yiyan almost jumped up when he heard this. At the same time, his heart started to waver. Could it be that he had recognized the wrong person? No, it was impossible. She would never mistake him for anyone else. Then there was only one explanation. He was deliberately confusing him. Su Yiyan raised her eyebrows and clicked on the other party's blank profile picture to look at the gender of the account. "Yen, so it's Miss? I'm sorry, when I saw your gender I thought you were a man. Sweat Yen. Is there anything I can help you with?" Huo Chenhuan regretted it as soon as she sent it out, but it was too late. She could only comfort herself. So be it. That way it would be more beneficial for her to wear her little vest. "Mulberry the Mountain, I spent a lot of money on the live stream today." Su Yiyan thought to herself, "Of course I know you spent a lot of money today. If it wasn't for your mysterious look of not wanting me to expose your identity, I would have grabbed you and scolded you for being a wastrel. Mountain without the 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 mountain Yen? Mulberry the Mountain. As compensation, can I make a request?" Make a request? Su Yiyan's heart was alarmed. Could it be that this guy wanted to use the unspoken rules against him? A rich big boss throwing millions of gold to support a delicate little streamer? If it had been someone else, Su Yiyan would have definitely smashed that person's head. But if it was Hu Chenhuan, it didn't seem so. Cough cough. Yin, what request? After Su Yiyan sent the message, she began to stare at the phone screen nervously. She wished she could stare a hole in it. A few seconds later, the other party replied, but the content disappointed her greatly. Mountain without the 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 mountain. Why did she feel an inexplicable sense of loss? Su Yiyan picked up her moral integrity that had fallen all over the floor and pretended that nothing had happened. She replied in all seriousness, "Okay, little sister. I'll change your status when we get back." Su Yuxuan, who was sitting next to Su Yiyan, saw his sister holding her phone and giggling from time to time as soon as she got into the car. After hesitating for a moment, she couldn't help but ask, "Who are you texting?" "My fiancé. Hu Chenhuan?" Su Yuxuan raised his eyebrows slightly. "Then why did I see you calling him little sister?" Su Yiyan was so frightened that she covered her phone screen with her hand. She looked at her brother as if he was a pervert who was spying on other people's privacy. "Su Yuxuan. No, I'm not. Listen to me." After doing this, Su Yiyan seemed to realize that she had overreacted. "Cough, we're cosplaying. It's cosplay." Chapter 55. Su Yiyan heard her brother's unspoken words, but her heart did not waver. She even felt like laughing. Wasn't that right? He could have raised conditions with her openly, but he still had to beat around the bush. In the end, he even tricked himself into becoming a transvestite. However, Su Yiyan did not want Hu Chenhuan to be at a disadvantage verbally. She immediately said, "This is the fun between couples. Brother, you don't understand." The translation of her words was, "This is the fun between us couples. How would a single dog like you understand?" Su Yuxuan instantly suffered a critical hit of 100,000 points, and his entire person became weak. It was all that damn Hu Chenhuan's fault. His sister used to be so soft and cute. Although she was still soft and cute now, she would show off her affection in front of him and speak up for the bastard outside. His heart was bitter. Su Yuxuan silently cursed Hu Chenhuan countless times in his heart, but in front of his sister, he still acted like a worried old mother. "You really don't need me to go with you?" Really no need. Brother, I'm not a child anymore." Su Yuxuan seemed to have been drained of all her energy, and she miserably became dispirited. "Then follow Ah Sheng and don't run around. If anyone in the company dares to give you a hard time, don't be courteous to them. If anything happens, I'll take care of it for you." Su Yiyan's heart warmed and she obediently replied, "Got it." After the driver sent Su Yuxuan to the company, he drove Su Yiyan to Dongqing Entertainment, which was established by the Su family. When Su Yiyan arrived, Xia Junxing had been waiting at the company entrance for a long time. "Missy. Brother Junxing, just call me Yayan. I didn't come to the company for work today. I just wanted to take a breather and walk around." Xia Junxing was Su Yuxuan's most trusted person, and he was also his classmate in university. After her death in her previous life, the family's company suffered a series of blows, and many people left one after another. Only the person in front of him stood firmly behind his brother, never having any thoughts of leaving or betraying him. Su Yuxuan regarded him as a brother. As Su Yuxuan's younger sister, it wasn't a loss for her to call him brother. Xia Junxing's eyes flashed slightly, and the gaze he used to look at Su Yiyan also softened a bit. "Okay, then I'll take you to the office for a walk first?" "Forget about the office. I want to see what the artists who haven't debuted or are about to debut in the company usually do." Although Xia Junxing was a little surprised by Su Yiyan's request, he didn't say anything. He nodded and led Su Yiyan to the floor where the trainees were. Although this company was her family's business, this was Su Yiyan's first time visiting this company. In her previous life, Su Yuxuan had indeed asked her if she was interested in the entertainment industry and wanted to transfer the company to her. But at that time she wasn't interested in it, so she didn't agree. She didn't expect that half a year later, Hu Xiaofeng would suddenly bring Wen Jingping to her, point at her nose, and scold her for being vicious and narrow-minded. Su Yiyan was stunned by the scolding and almost exploded in anger. Even until her death, she couldn't figure out why these two weirdos suddenly went crazy. It wasn't until Su Yiyan read the so-called original novel that she finally understood. At that time, because the variety show organized by her company did not allow Wen Jingping to debut directly, those two guys with strange brain circuits thought that she hated Wen Jingping for stealing her love, and did not allow her to debut. Chapter 56. As soon as Su Yiyan stepped out of the elevator, she heard a melodious voice. She walked in the direction of the voice and saw more than 10 young and beautiful girls in the practice room. A female teacher in her early 40s was sitting in front of the piano. She played a piece of music from time to time and stopped to talk to the girls. It seemed like she was teaching these future young female artists how to sing. In the face of the female teacher's energetic lecture, the students' reactions were different. Some were lazy, some were focused, some were in high spirits, and some were exhausted. What are the names of the two girls in yellow and blue over there? Xia Junxing frowned slightly and saw a staff member standing not far away. He quickly raised his hand to call him over. He pointed at the two girls Su Yiyan had just asked, "Do you know those two girls?" "I know them. The girl in yellow is called Jing Qiuying and the girl in blue is called Huang Zitong. They are trainees that our company is preparing to train to debut soon." "Trainees that are preparing to debut soon?" Su Yiyan raised her eyebrows. "Have they participated in any variety shows recently?" The staff member subconsciously glanced at Xia Junxing. When he saw that he did not say anything, he said, "Yes, they came in to prepare for the recording of Superstar tomorrow." Su Yiyan's eyes flashed with understanding. "Okay, thank you." After Su Yiyan finished speaking, she took one last look at the two girls and left quietly. Xia Junxing followed behind her and asked in a low voice, "Yiyan, do you think there's something wrong with those two trainees?" "No, I just think they might have the potential to be popular." "Potential to be popular?" Xia Junxing's interest was piqued. "How can you tell? Do you think they're good-looking?" "Appearance is naturally one of the reasons. But in the entertainment industry, is there a shortage of good-looking people?" "Then, you saw the situation just now. There were so many people, but there weren't many who were listening seriously. There weren't many, but there were many who were more serious than them. Why did you take a fancy to them?" "There are indeed a few others who are serious, but compared to them, those few are more spirited. This means that their daily training intensity is not as high as those two. To be able to remain clear-headed under high-intensity training, treat every class seriously, and learn any skills that may be useful in the future. This meant that they were very clear about what they wanted and had the energy and perseverance to get what they wanted. Opportunities are only given to those who are prepared." Xia Junxing smiled and agreed, "You're right." Su Yiyan paused and turned to look at him with a faint smile. "So, I will inform the publicity department to increase the packaging and publicity for the two of them." "Thank you, Brother Junxing. The two of them will be my first investment in East City. It's a good opportunity to test if I have the ability to recognize pearls in this aspect." Although Xia Junxing felt that it was a bit hasty to decide the future of the two girls like this, Dongqing City was the property of the Su family, and the Su family had the absolute right to speak. Moreover, Su Yiyan did not do anything bad that would harm the company, so he let her be. After visiting the female artists, Su Yiyan also prepared to check on the male artists. Chapter 57. Who's the girl who just walked over with Director Xia? Why haven't I seen her before? Could she be a new female artist in our company? You think too much. Is a new female artist qualified to be received by Mr. Xia personally? That's hard to say. Maybe she's a young lady from a rich family who has nothing to do and wants to enter the entertainment industry? It's not like there hasn't been such a precedent. Ning Chirui had just walked into the company when he heard the discussion of several young girls at the front desk. He frowned slightly but did not say anything and followed his agent upstairs. But some things in this world were so coincidental. They had just walked out of the elevator when they bumped into the main character of the young girls' discussion. "Mr. Xia." Ning Chirui's agent recognized his immediate boss almost at a glance and took the lead to greet him. Xia Junxing nodded and asked in a businesslike manner, "Have you finished the Shi family's endorsement?" "Yes, I just finished." Ning Chirui seemed to be quite familiar with Xia Junxing and spoke very casually. "This is? She's my friend's little sister. She wants to come to our company for an internship, so she asked me to bring her over to have a look. Yayan, this is Ning Chirui, the popular young star that our company has been promoting recently." When Xia Junxing said this, he gave Su Yiyan a subtle wink, as if asking her if the person in front of her, who they had been promoting, also had the potential to be popular. Su Yiyan's mouth twitched slightly. She thought that he did have the potential to be popular, but he also had the potential to be a ticking time bomb. If this ticking time bomb problem was not handled properly, not only would the company's long-term resources be wasted, but they might also get into trouble. "Yayan, Before Su Yiyan could say anything, Ning Chirui said something shocking first. The young lady of the Su family, Su Yiyan? Chirui, you know Yayan? Ning Chirui chuckled and said somewhat sarcastically, after all, it's a management company where I have to stay for a few years. If I don't even know my employer's family situation in advance before signing a contract, then I would be too naive and sweet. Su Yiyan thought to herself, aren't you a sweet, silly girl? In his previous life he had been fooled by that woman. Not only had he sacrificed himself, but he had also sacrificed both his family clans. What right did he have to ridicule her? Calling you silly and sweet is an insult to the word silly and sweet, okay? Logically speaking, Su Yiyan and Ning Chirui had no interactions in this life. The two of them had not even met before, so why would Ning Chirui be so hostile to her? The only possibility was that Ning Chirui and Wen Jingping had crossed paths again and had been brainwashed by Wen Jingping to become her loyal fan. That's right, whether it was in the original novel or the previous life, Ning Chirui was Wen Jingping's loyal bootlicker. He was also one of the backups who were infatuated with Wen Jingping. On the surface he was just a popular male artist, but in fact he was the most favored young master of both the Ning and Qi families. This young master had a good impression of the female lead, Wen Jingping, because of her pure, kind, and unpretentious. Not only did his feelings come inexplicably, but before he died of a serious illness half a year later, the one he could not let go of the most was not his family and friends, but Wen Jingping, whom he had only known for a few months. He even asked his family to take good care of Wen Jingping after his death. Chapter 58. The funny thing was that after several dangerous catastrophes, the two protagonists were fine, but the Ning and Qi families were all bruised and battered. In the end, they were swallowed up by He Xiaofeng, a despicable villain. It was really a classic example of biting the hand that fed you. Su Yiyan did not have a good impression of Ning Chirui, a simp who had let a wolf into the house and harmed his family. But since she was determined to snatch the heroine halo from Wen Jingping and change her own fate, she could not let the Ning and Qi families help Wen Jingping like in her previous life. The intersection between the two was inevitable, so she could only start with Ning Chirui's illness. The original book did not mention what illness Ning Chirui had, and the Ning and Qi families were also secretive about it. They only knew that it was a sudden emergency and rapidly worsened in a few months. However, Su Yiyan, who had activated an important auxiliary skill at this moment, saw that Ning Chirui's kidney had begun to send out warning signs at a glance. Xia Junxing was not a fool. The sarcasm in Ning Chirui's words was so obvious that it made him think that the two had some personal grudges. Just as he was about to say something to ease the atmosphere, he heard Su Yiyan say faintly, "You often feel very weak recently and your waist often hurts. You even occasionally have symptoms of oliguria and oliguria?" Ning Chirui's face changed slightly. "You, yes or no?" Ning Chirui choked and said angrily, "It's none of your business." Ning Chirui's reaction just confirmed Su Yiyan's guess. She sighed deeply and patted Ning Chirui's shoulder very earnestly. She whispered, "Young man, think more and don't get angry. If you have kidney problems at such a young age, what will you do in the future?" Ning Chirui's agent and Xia Junxing were speechless. They seemed to have found out a big secret. If Ning Chirui's kidney was not good, then Ning Chirui was stunned for a few seconds before he realized what Su Yiyan meant. Instantly, he was like a cat whose tail had been stepped on, and his hair stood on end. He slapped Su Yiyan's hand away and roared, "What nonsense are you talking about? Whether I'm talking nonsense or not, won't you know if you go to the hospital for a checkup?" Su Yiyan looked at the person in front of him with a subtle sense of sarcasm and scrutiny. "I can tell you with certainty that if your illness is not treated as soon as possible, there will be many complications soon. First of all, your kidney function will begin to show abnormalities, and oliguria is likely to progress to hematuria. If you discover it early and treat it early, you might still have a chance to live. Your own life depends entirely on you. If you don't value it, then no one can save you." After Su Yiyan finished speaking, she abandoned Ning Chirui, who was already dumbfounded, and quickly left. Xia Junxing was stunned for a few seconds. He looked at Ning Chirui with a complicated expression. In the end, he did not say anything and chased after Su Yiyan. "Chirui." As soon as the manager saw the two of them leave, he immediately went up to Ning Chirui and looked at him worriedly. He wanted to say something but was worried about hurting his self-esteem. After deliberating for a while, he said, "What Miss Su said just now, it's fake, it must be fake." Before the manager could finish speaking, Ning Chirui interrupted him sharply. She must be lying to me. A despicable person like her can even make a false accusation about stealing someone's boyfriend. It can be seen that she is full of lies and can't be trusted. What she said just now was just to scare me. Yes, it must be just to scare me. Chapter 59. Xia Junxing caught up with Su Yiyan and asked tentatively, "Do you have a grudge against Ning Chirui?" No. Xia Junxing did not believe her. Then what happened between us just now? I don't deny that he may have misunderstood me, but it was indeed the first time we met. Su Yiyan's words sounded simple, but there was a lot of meaning behind them. Who would be hostile to a stranger they met for the first time for no reason? Especially if the other party knew her name and family background. Since Su Yiyan did not have a grudge against him, someone must have said something to him. Xia Junxing's eyes were slightly cold, but he knew what to do next. Su Yiyan glanced at Xia Junxing and reminded him, "Brother Junxing, you are more familiar with the domestic upper-class circle than I am. Don't you think of anything else about the two words Ning and Qi?" Ning and Qi? Xia Junxing pondered for a moment and suddenly seemed to understand something. His face changed greatly. "You mean, you'd better take precautions in advance." Precautions? Xia Junxing was stunned for a few seconds before saying, "Is what you just said true? You really?" Su Yiyan looked at him with a faint smile. She did not say yes or no. Xia Junxing felt more and more uncertain. "How did you know?" "What if I said that I saw it with my eyes?" "You saw it with your eyes?" Xia Junxing looked suspicious. It was not that he did not take a closer look at Ning Chirui's face just now. His complexion was ruddy and he was in high spirits. There were no dark circles under his eyes. How did Su Yiyan see that he was sick? "Then how about you take a look at my body? Will I have some kind of hidden disease that can't be seen on the surface like Ning Chirui?" Su Yiyan took a step back and looked Xia Junxing up and down. She smiled faintly and said, "You are very healthy but your liver is hot. Don't always stay up late. Also, smoke less in the future. Don't smoke if you can." When Xia Junxing was nervous or stressed he would smoke a little. He didn't smoke a lot and wasn't addicted. However, whenever he encountered an urgent project or a more troublesome matter, he would continuously smoke several sticks at a time. Very few people knew about this. Su Yuxuan was one of them. Hearing Su Yiyan's words, Xia Junxing's first reaction was, could it be that Su Yuxuan had told her? But would most people tell their little sister about their friend's habits in such detail? The topic ended there and did not continue. Su Yiyan knew that Xia Junxing did not believe her words very much. He might even see it as a small way for her to retaliate against Ning Chirui. But even if he did not fully believe it, he already had doubts in his heart. Coupled with Ning Chirui's identity, as long as one was a normal person, it was impossible not to be cautious. The Ning and Qi families would help when Jingping and Ning Chirui regardless of the consequences. On the one hand, it was because of the existence of the protagonist's halo. The plot was irreversible. On the other hand, how could there not be a factor of empathy? After all, the words of the dead and the words of the living were different. If Ning Chirui was alive, would his family still allow him to help other people's women so willfully and stand up for other people's women? What's more, when Ning Chirui saw Wen Jingping's true colors and knew that she was willing to give up everything for other men and even hurt his family because of it, would he still continue to be her bootlicker? Chapter 60. Yang Jinyu was the boss of a listed company. He was not even 30 years old this year, but he was already worth hundreds of millions. For him to have such achievements, his family background was one thing, but his own ability was also not to be underestimated. Unfortunately, compared to his work ability, the people outside were obviously more concerned about his endless love affairs. That's right, this big boss was not even 30 years old, but the number of girlfriends he had was enough to circle his company building. Although most of them parted on good terms, it didn't prevent the upper class from using this playboy's romantic affairs as a topic of conversation after a meal. However, recently this young Master Yang also encountered a problem that made him very distressed. "Boss Yang, your takeout is here." The female secretary knocked on the door of the boss's office with a well-packed insulated box. Then she heard the sound of running noises coming from inside. A hand reached out from behind the slightly open door and snatched the insulated box from her hand. The door slammed shut again and the boss shouted with some excitement, "Don't let anyone come near my office for half an hour." Yang Jinyu sat in front of the table and stared at the insulated box in front of him expectantly and nervously. After a while he finally made up his mind. He untied the bag outside the box and opened the insulated box. The familiar smell that he had smelled in the live broadcast room came to his nose. Yang Jinyo's whole body shook, and he couldn't wait to pick up the spoon and drink it. Considering that the seahorses raised in his fish pond were several times stronger than ordinary seahorses, Su Yiyan deliberately added a lot of water. The bowl of soup in Yang Jinyo's hand was not only full, but he was also very lucky to get one of the two seahorses in the pot, one male and one female. After drinking a few mouthfuls of soup, Yang Jinyu tried to take a bite of the dried seahorse. He found that the seahorse didn't have the fishy smell of ordinary dried goods. Instead, it was very delicious and chewy. By the time he reacted, the whole bowl of soup had been drunk by him, and not even the bones were left. Burp. Yang Jinyu burped contentedly. He didn't know if it was his illusion or not. After drinking the soup, he felt that the cold that had been entangled in his body for the past few days had dissipated a lot. His whole body was warm and very comfortable. I don't know if this soup is really effective. Why don't he try it out with his new girlfriend tonight? However, his previous girlfriend broke up with him because of his problems in that area. She even threatened him to extort a large sum of money from him. What if his current girlfriend also? Just as Yang Jinyu was hesitating, there was a sudden noise outside the door. Young Master Ning, please wait. Our boss really can't meet any guests right now. Please don't make things difficult for us. Sighed young Master Ning. Yang Jinyu's face changed slightly. He stood up in fright and hurriedly packed up the things on the table. When Ning Chirue barged in, he had just stuffed the insulated box into his desk drawer. When he looked up, he saw his friend's dark face. The expression on Yang Jinyo's face was slightly stiff, and he inexplicably felt guilty. Chirue, why are you here? Ning Chirue frowned slightly and sniffed. What's the smell in your office? Taste? Only then did Yang Jinyu remember that the taste of dry soup was the most overbearing. He had just drunk a big bowl and was already used to the taste. Chapter 61. The expression on Yang Jinyo's face became more and more stiff. I ordered a meal from a special hotel at noon. I just finished it not long ago, so it may still taste good. Food. Don't you take nutrient solutions when you work? Why are you suddenly in the mood to eat alone? To improve my diet. Yang Jinyu paused and seemed to think that this reason was not very good, so he quickly added, to celebrate my 99th girlfriend. As soon as Yang Jinyu said this, he immediately received a disdainful look from Ning Chirue. Scumbag. Scumbag? Yang Jinyu was unhappy when he heard this title. Little brother, only a scumbag can be called a scumbag. I always finish what I started and part on good terms. This is not a scumbag. At most it's called a romantic. Learn from me. Ning Chirue rolled his eyes and snorted at his argument. Seeing him like this, Yang Jinyo's eyes turned slightly, and he took the opportunity to change the topic. Speaking of this, don't tell me you ran into a wall in front of your future girlfriend, so you came here to vent your anger on me in exasperation? Yang Jinyu seemed to have thought of something when he said this. He frowned slightly and said slightly seriously, I'm telling you as an experienced person that the girl you like is not a pure little white rabbit. If you don't handle it well, she may swallow you whole. It's better to withdraw before you have any substantial relationship with her. If it were any other time, Ning Chirue would have exploded on the spot when he heard Yang Jinyu talk about his sweetheart like this. But at this time he was depressed by Su Yiyan's words and did not react for a while. It's not her. I met a particularly annoying guy today. Oh. Yang Jinyu raised his eyebrows and became interested. Who dares to make young Master Ning unhappy? Does she want to die? It's an evil woman. When we met she said that I was sick. Yang Jinyu burst out laughing on the spot. Sick? What disease? She said that I had a kidney problem. Kidney? Ning Chirue's face suddenly turned red. Isn't it? How can there be a kidney problem? I'm not like you who changes girlfriends every few weeks. You're more likely to have kidney problems. How can I? Hey, how can you say that? Yang Jinyu felt as if he had been pricked by a needle. He stood up and glared at Ning Chirue with indignation. I'm just giving an example. Why are you so agitated? Of all the examples, why did you have to use this one? If it were you, would you be happy if others said that you have kidney deficiency? I only said that there's something wrong with the kidneys. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's something wrong with the kidneys. Yang Jinyu choked. The atmosphere in the room was a little subtle for a while. In the end, Yang Jinyu took the initiative to break the silence. It sounds like that woman is really too much. Ning Chirui also seemed to have woken up from a dream and echoed, "Isn't that so?" Not only did she say that there was something wrong with my kidney, but she also said that if I didn't get treatment soon my life would be in danger. Do you think this is something a human would say? Yang Jinyo's face changed when he heard this. He pondered for a moment and said seriously, "Since she said so, you should check it." Ning Chirui's eyes narrowed. "Why are you all so? It's better to believe it than not. You can't be careless about things related to your body." What if? Ning Chirui was stumped by his question. What if? Who could guarantee that there would not be a what if? What if it was true? Then wouldn't he? Chapter 62. Su Yiyin strolled around her own entertainment company. After getting a general understanding of the company's current operations, she was ready to go back. Unexpectedly, just as she followed Xia Junxing to the company's entrance, the person beside her received a call. What? Asking for a person to be replaced by someone? Who is it? Wen Jingping? Is she an artist in our company? If not, then replace her. Anyway, it's just the beginning. It shouldn't be a big problem to have one less person. Wait. Su Yiyin finally couldn't help but interrupt the conversation between Xia Junxing and the person on the other end of the phone. Xia Junxing was stunned and turned to look at her in confusion. What's wrong? Someone wants to replace Wen Jingping? Who is it? This. Xia Junxing hesitated for a moment, but still repeated Su Yiyin's question to the person on the other end of the phone. At first, the person was not very willing to reveal it, but later, he couldn't escape and said frankly, "It's the vice president." He said it's the family Hua's idea. Family Hua. Su Yiyin was surprised. Hua Xiaofeng and Wen Jingping were in their honeymoon period. They couldn't wait to support her, so they definitely wouldn't let anyone replace her. Hua Xiaofeng's parents also didn't seem like people who would care about such a small matter. The only explanation was, thinking that someone didn't say anything but secretly stood up for her, Su Yiyin couldn't help but smile crazily. I understand. I'll tell him. Don't touch her for the time being. After saying that, Su Yiyin was worried that Xia Junxing and the people in the company would misunderstand, so she added, "Don't replace her, but don't pay too much attention to her. Just take care of our people." Xia Junxing wasn't stupid. Su Yiyin's words had already expressed her attitude. They didn't need to make things difficult for that woman named Wen Jingping, but they also couldn't make things easy for her. Where they went and how far they could go had nothing to do with them. Su Yiyin didn't make things difficult for Xia Junxing and the vice president of the company. On the way home, she video called Hua Chenhuan. When the video call connected, Hua Chenhuan was busy coaxing Dun Dun to eat. That's right, coaxing it to eat. This corgi cub symbolized the crystallization of love between the two of them. Ever since it entered the family Hua, it had enjoyed unprecedented royal treatment. Not only did it have its own luxurious villa, but it also had its own independent wardrobe and bathroom. The most important thing was that Hua Chenhuan never let anyone else do anything related to it. It dutifully served as the poop picker for its fiancé's pet. This made Yu Zian and the others suspect that their young master was really raising that fat dog as his daughter. Dun Dun. Who are you calling fat? As soon as the video call connected, Su Yiyin saw the enlarged dog face of her cub. The round black grape-like eyes looked as if it had found a backer when it saw its owner. It was full of resentment and whined as if it had suffered a great grievance. Su Yiyin was confused. She didn't understand what was going on. What's going on? Is it throwing a tantrum? It's throwing a tantrum. It won't eat. Why is it suddenly throwing a tantrum? Does it miss me? Chapter 63. As if hearing the word ligation again, Dun Dun rewarded Hua Chenhuan with its invisible claws on the spot. Then it turned around and sat on the ground with its meaty back facing Su Yanyan. For its master, it could even bear to go bald, but ligation was definitely not tolerated. Su Yiyin was stunned for a while before realizing that his dog was indeed at this age, but ligation. Su Yiyin held back his laughter and said, "Our family's Dun Dun is already betrothed to a child. If you ask it to be legated, it definitely won't be happy." Dun Dun might have heard Su Yiyin's words, and its meaty little body moved slightly. It was obviously very curious about this topic, but it pretended as if nothing had happened. It thought that no one else had noticed. Child betrothed. Yes, my friend's dog is also a corgi. It's a few days younger than Dun Dun, and the two of them can be considered childhood sweethearts. Hua Chenhuan was a little stimulated by the words, childhood sweethearts. Dun Dun and the other person's dog were childhood sweethearts. Would Su Yiyan and him friend a man? Su Yiyan saw through Huo Qinhuan's subtle jealousy hidden behind the question. His eyebrows curved slightly and he smiled faintly. Female, she's my best friend. She should be back in the country in 2 days and she'll be my bridesmaid for our wedding next month. Upon hearing that it was Su Yiyan's best friend, Huo Qinhuan's vigilance instantly disappeared. Then when will she be back? This dog is now. Should be in 2 days. When she comes back, I'll introduce you to each other. As for Dun Dun, Su Yiyan's face revealed a meaningful smile. In 2 days, if it can't wait and dares to cause trouble, take it to be legated. When the time comes, let's see if your beautiful little fiancé still wants you. Dun Dun. Sure enough, with a stepfather comes a stepmother. Am I no longer your precious little cutie? How can you treat me like this? When Huo Qinhuan heard Su Yiyan's words, the expression on his face froze and he said hoarsely, Then what about my beautiful little fiancé? Will you not want me too? Su Yiyan was slightly startled and only then did he remember Huo Qinhuan. I left Zai with you, do you think I won't want you? Only then did Huo Qinhuan's expression improve. He picked up little Corgi who was still throwing a tantrum with him and said to Su Yiyan, I'll bring it to you tomorrow. Su Yiyan's eyes slightly brightened and he nodded hurriedly. That person? Is that person you? Are? Huo Qinhuan had planned to quietly deal with that woman, but he did not expect Su Yiyan to coincidentally bump into her. It's me, Huo Qinhuan admitted straightforwardly. I'm sorry. I made the decision without asking for your opinion. You don't need to apologize. You're my fiancé and my future husband. You have the right to make decisions for me. Actually, I was quite happy when I found out about this. Huo Qinhuan subconsciously clenched his fists, and his gaze on Su Yiyan became more passionate. Chapter 64. As a reincarnated person who had died once, no one understood Wen Jingping's evilness better than her. In her previous life, Wen Jingping hadn't even made it to the end of the variety show. Now she had suddenly interfered and asked her to withdraw. With her female lead Halo, the plot might be completed automatically. If she were to do something else, it wouldn't be worth it. Huo Qinhuan was silent for a moment when she heard her words. She asked hesitantly, Do you still mind what happened to them? Of course I mind. Su Yiyan said without thinking. Although I don't have a good impression of Huo Xiaofeng and his family, and you could even say that I hate them, that doesn't mean that they can bully me and my family like this. When Su Yiyan said this, her face revealed a rare trace of hostility. Even a clay figurine has a temper. If they had told our family in private back then, it would have been fine. Let's part on good terms. From now on, we'll go our separate ways and have nothing to do with each other. But they're good. It's as if our family forced him to go through with this marriage. It's as if we're trying to break up an affectionate couple. I'm not a pushover. I won't be angry even if I let them bully me. Sooner or later I'll make them pay the price. None of them will be able to escape. Dun Dun, who was in Huo Qinhuan's arms, seemed to resonate with its master's emotions. It barked a few times excitedly. When Huo Qinhuan heard that Su Yiyan didn't have any extra feelings for Huo Xiaofeng, she relaxed a lot. I'll help you. Su Yiyan smiled. If you don't help me, who else can you help? But now's not the time. I'm worried. Huo Qinhuan saw the undisguised dependence and trust on Su Yiyan's face. She didn't have time to think before she spoke. What are you worried about? I'm worried that once she becomes a public figure, the ugly things she did will be dug up. When that happens, you and your family will once again become the topic of gossip. So it was because of this. Su Yiyan immediately understood Huo Qinhuan's intentions, and her heart trembled. You don't have to worry about that. If the people who did wrong aren't afraid, why should a victim like me be afraid? Oh no, at that time I won't be considered a victim. Maybe when someone comes to dance in front of me, I can thank him for not marrying me and become his aunt. Su Yiyan's eyes were shining when he said this. It was obvious that he was very satisfied with this outcome. But 1 month is so long. Huo Qinhuan's fingertips stiffened. In fact, Su Yiyan was not the only one who was impatient. If it was possible, he also hoped to write this person in front of him into his household register as soon as possible and enclose her in his private territory forever. Tomorrow, I'll look for you tomorrow. As soon as Huo Qinhuan finished speaking, Corgi, who was in her arms, began to struggle frantically to show his existence. Seeing this, Hua Chenhuan tactfully added, "Bring it along." Su Yiyan held back her laughter and nodded. "Okay, is there anything you want to eat? I'll make it for you tomorrow." Hua Chenhuan's heart moved slightly. "As long as it's made by you, I'll like it." Su Yiyan. What was the difference between following and following? Chapter 65. Although Su Yiyan had stayed by Hua Chenhuan's side for a while in the form of a wandering soul in her previous life, at that time, Hua Chenhuan was very busy with all kinds of things. It was common for her not to eat, and even if she did eat, she would just drink a bottle of nutrient solution casually. There was no problem of not tasting good food at all. Hua Chenhuan was stunned by the words for the rest of his life, and surrendered on the spot. "I like things with a strong taste and I don't like things that are too bland." After saying that, she seemed to have thought of something and added, "What you made last time was very good." Su Yiyan laughed. Although the soup she made last time was appetizing, if Hua Chenhuan had a strong taste, then it was indeed a bit too bland. "Then I'll make something else tomorrow and see if it suits your taste. I know how to make a lot of things, so you don't have to worry about not being able to find something you like." Okay. After figuring out Hua Chenhuan's taste, Su Yiyan already had a plan in mind. She glanced at her favorability that had risen to 60 to 70,000. There was still a certain distance to the next level of 100,000. She almost didn't hesitate to exchange for a chili seed. That's right, chili was also a medicinal plant that had gone extinct in this world. There were ordinary green onions, ginger and garlic, but to cook fish with just ginger was still a little lacking. The next morning, Su Yiyan turned on the live broadcast on time. There were already about 1,000 people waiting online. When she came online, it only took a few seconds for the number of people to suddenly soar to over 10,000. Su Yiyan was just about to introduce today's ingredients when a bunch of high rewards broke into her sight. Congratulations to the live broadcast room Yanyan's Little Kitchen, for receiving a luxurious villa *10 from the user, GoldenEye Gun I Don't Fall. Congratulations to the live broadcast room Yanyan's Little Kitchen, for receiving a giant oil tanker *10 from the user, Big Big You Big. Congratulations to the live broadcast room Yanyan's Little Kitchen, for receiving a rose *100 from the user, the most handsome man in the universe. The audience that came in later was stunned by the rewards as soon as they entered. What's going on? The streamer has just started broadcasting and there are already rich people flooding the screen? Why do the IDs of these viewers look so familiar? Aren't they the lucky audience members that the streamer drew yesterday? Oh my god, it's true. So, did they come back to thank the streamer after getting something that was really effective? If I remember correctly, the medicinal cuisine made by the host last night seemed to be. So these people, he. The internet had memories, especially since there were quite a number of people who had watched the live broadcast yesterday. Everyone still remembered what the two of them had done before the lucky draw. At this time, everyone was competing at the two of them on the screen, asking them to prove whether Su Yiyan's medicinal cuisine was really effective. Naturally, it was impossible for the two of them to appear. Just like before, they silently pretended to be dead. However, this did not affect their good mood at the moment. Take Jianghu for example. After drinking the soup, he hesitated for a long time. In the end, he still asked his new 99th girlfriend out. After a simple candlelight dinner, the two got down to business. Jianghu was pleasantly surprised to find that the problem that had been troubling him recently was really solved. Chapter 66. The other two viewers were in a similar situation. Although they were embarrassed to post on the bullet screen, they still had to show basic gratitude after receiving such a huge benefit. As soon as Su Yiyan saw their rewards, she roughly knew what was going on. She had received their faith points yesterday, which meant that they should have all drunk her soup and had a deep understanding of the effects of those soups. After thanking them one by one, she told the audience in the live broadcast room about today's arrangements. There's good news and bad news. Which one do you want to hear first? This fatal opening caused the bullet screen in the live broadcast room to freeze for a few seconds. After that, someone asked with concern, "What's the bad news? Did the streamer encounter any difficulties?" Su Yiyan was stunned for a moment. She didn't expect such a reaction from the audience. Her eyebrows curved slightly, but she couldn't help but laugh. "The bad news is that my husband is coming over today. I have to prepare food for him now, so I can't give any of the dishes in the live broadcast room to you today. I'm sorry." This result was beyond many people's expectations, but most of them expressed their understanding. The dishes were originally made by the streamer, so she naturally had the right to decide whether to give them away or not and who to give them to. Instead, they were more concerned about, my husband? Does it mean what I think it means? Why am I so caught off guard by such a large amount of dog food when I'm watching a gourmet live broadcast early in the morning? A dog's life is difficult. The streamer personally washed her hands and made soup for him. Forgive me for turning into a lemon essence on the spot. Hey, didn't anyone realize that the streamer said she was coming over? Since they're a couple, she shouldn't have said anything about coming back. Are they living separately or on a business trip? Su Yiyan saw this comment at a glance and explained with a faint smile, we're having our wedding next month, so we're not living together yet. Everyone suddenly understood. So they're just engaged. Does this mean that I still have a chance? Yes. Marriage is not a trifling matter. Is the streamer really not going to consider me? I'm actually also, audience A and B were just joking. In fact, they didn't have the idea of interfering in someone else's marriage. As a result, after posting a comment when they were about to post another one, they found that they were banned. Audience A and B. For the first time, Huo Chenhuan exercised his authority as a moderator by deleting all the comments that were trying to poach his girlfriend. He also muted them for an hour as punishment. Only comments were left discussing their wedding, asking if Su Yiyan could broadcast the wedding live, or giving out some small benefits on the wedding day, like making a few more medicinal cuisines for the lucky draw. Su Yiyan, on the other hand, didn't notice it at all. He said very nicely, I might be very busy on the day of the wedding so I can't broadcast it live. However, I will compensate you later by giving you some other things. Good news? The good news is that there will be more dishes to cook today, and the live stream will be longer. As soon as Su Yiyan's words came out, the bullet screen was filled with wailing. How is this good news? Is there anything more torturous than being able to look but not eat? There were too many complaints on the screen. In the end, Su Yiyan could only helplessly say, all right, as compensation, I will activate the tasting system today. Although I can't eat the real thing, I can at least try it. Is that okay? Chapter 67. Alright, let's not talk about these digressions. Let's get to the point. Our first dish today is spicy boiled fish. The main ingredients used are 3 to 4 caddies of grass carp, ginger, garlic, and chili. You can add the rest of the vegetables according to your tastes. Su Yiyan specially reminded them, because the smell of chili is quite strong, some people may feel a little choked when smelling it for the first time. You can choose whether to turn off the smell simulation system or not. As Su Yiyan spoke, he cut off the head and tail of the 3 to 4 caddies of grass carp, then sliced the meat of the fish into slices. The knife skill that he had activated earlier finally came into play at this moment. He sliced the meat of the fish into small slices of moderate thickness and marinated them with cooking wine for a while. After frying the fish fillet and tail, it was time to fry the chili. The moment the chili was put into the pot, the livestream room was suddenly filled with a choking smell. Even though Su Yiyan had warned them beforehand, many people were still choked by the smell. Some people who were not used to the smell couldn't help but sneeze. Oh my god, what is this thing? Why is it so choking? It's making me sneeze non-stop. Sneezing +1. I wasn't used to it at first, but after getting used to it, it seems to be quite fragrant. Am I bad? Is it choking? I think it's okay. It's really fragrant. I'm kind of looking forward to the final product. It would be great if I could draw a prize. When Su Yiyan was frying the chili, he took time to glance at the screen and found that although most people choked, they were not repulsed by the smell of chili. In this era where everyone ate nutrient solutions, although most nutrient solutions had different flavors, most of them were relatively mild and light. There were very few nutrient solutions with a particularly strong flavor. Most of them were regional dark cuisine. Apart from some people who were more curious, very few people were willing to touch them. This was the main reason why Wen Jingping was able to become popular in the gourmet livestream rooms so quickly. According to the original novel, she had a family cookbook. In this era, people who had recipes would either open their own high-end restaurants or work as private chefs for rich people. Just like Su Yiyan's Aunt Li, she was able to enter the Su family because she inherited some skills. There were not many people like Wen Jingping who directly broadcast on the internet. Because of this, Wen Jingping could quickly become popular in a short period of time and become the most popular sister in the gourmet area. However, that might not be the case after today. After stir-frying the chili, scallion, ginger, garlic and other condiments, he added in the fish head, fish tail and various other seasonings. After stir-frying, he added water, some soybean sprouts that had been blanched earlier, some vegetables that Su Yiyan liked, and sliced fish fillets. Then he covered the pot and boiled it for a period of time. Taking advantage of this time, Su Yiyan hurriedly stewed the soup. Today we'll be stewing cinnamon pork stomach soup. Other than pork stomach and lean meat, we'll also need ginger, barley, and cinnamon. I'm sure everyone is familiar with the rest. Let me introduce Job's barley and cinnamon to everyone. Chapter 68. As soon as Su Yiyan's words came out, the pop-up screen became lively again. A large number of people were asking what the cinnamon looked like and where they could buy it. There were even old viewers who had been following Su Yiyan since the first day. They complained that the wolfberries, red dates, and other things that had appeared in Su Yiyan's live broadcast room before could not be found in the market, let alone buy them and make them themselves. Seeing that many people were asking this question, the keyboard warriors hidden among the ordinary viewers also began to move. It can't be found in the market. Could it be that they are fooling people? That's right. They don't know what kind of Chinese herbal medicine it is. Can medicine be eaten casually? They don't even have a test report to confirm the ingredients. If something goes wrong, will the host be responsible? Similar words began to flood the screen in the live broadcast room. Even if there were other viewers who did not like these people's sarcasm and spoke up for Su Yiyan, they would immediately be attacked by a large group of people and turned into a water army. In such a situation, some people who were blamed for no reason were angry, and some people who were just watching for fun began to waver. They felt that what these people said was not unreasonable. Just as a few lucky viewers who had been drawn before and were watching the live broadcast wanted to stand up for Su Yiyan, all the comments questioning whether there was a problem with the Chinese herbal medicine were suddenly cleared. Several accounts that stirred up trouble in the live broadcast room were also directly banned. A line of words floated across the top of the live broadcast room in an extremely eye-catching and arrogant manner. Those who take the lead in questioning the host in the live broadcast room will be banned. After being banned, all accounts with the same identity and the same IP will never be able to participate in the live broadcast room's lucky draw. As soon as this sentence floated out, many people were surprised again. Did I see it wrong? Our live broadcast room has a moderator? Upstairs you didn't see it wrong. That glittering golden font special effect. Damn, the moderator is the daddy of the leaderboard. No wonder those problematic comments just now are all gone. The great leader of the leaderboard is mighty. I'm so annoyed by these keyboard warriors who are questioning this and that everywhere. They are wearing the skin of a moralist and doing dirty things. Su Yiyan had just finished blanching the pig's stomach and put it into the stew pot with lean meat, ginger, barley, and cinnamon to stew. When he looked up, he saw the screen full of comments about the moderator of the live broadcast room. He could not help but be stunned. What moderator? What happened in the live stream just now? Nothing. Everyone is just discussing where to buy these Chinese medicinal herbs that the streamer mentioned. In addition, we are also wondering why there is suddenly a moderator in our live broadcast room. The viewers who stayed behind weren't stupid. Fang Guanqing's comments were banned because he didn't want the streamer to feel bad after seeing those comments. If they brought up the past now, they would be too inconsiderate. Su Yiyan had already thought of a solution to the purchase problem before the live broadcast, but it was still too early to completely solve this problem. The problem with the materials is a bit troublesome. We need to wait for a while to solve it. There will be a day when we can buy it. This sounded like an empty promise, but for those who were troubled by various difficult and complicated diseases, it was a life-saving straw. After Su Yiyan gave an affirmative answer, the audience quickly changed the topic and asked a question that they were very concerned about. Chapter 69. Su Yiyan was a bit confused by the series of questions, but her main focus was still on the second question. Why did she choose him to be the admin? Do you even need to ask? Of course it's because he's my man. But if she were to say this out loud, not only the audience in the stream but also someone on the other side of the screen would probably explode. Just as Su Yiyan was distressed about how to respond, the new admin suddenly turned on the reward mode. Congratulations to the host, Yen Yen, for receiving 10 luxurious bungalows from a loyal viewer, Mountain Yusu. Congratulations to the host, Yen Yen, for receiving 520 giant oil tankers from a loyal viewer, Mountain Yusu. Congratulations to the host, Yen Yen, for receiving 9,999 roses from a loyal viewer, Mountain Yusu. Su Yiyan? Audience? Do you understand now? Everyone, including Su Yiyan, took a few seconds to react. These 3 words were the admin's reply to the viewer who asked the question. The rows of rewards, along with the golden exclusive special effects, were all showing the words, "I have money." Why can he be the admin? Because he has money, he can do whatever he wants. The stream was instantly filled with cries. Countless viewers turned into lemons and cried bitterly, shedding tears of poverty. The viewer who asked the question felt like he was hit by 100,000 points of critical damage and temporarily shut himself up. Su Yiyan couldn't help but laugh. She had to admit that someone's simple and crude actions saved her a lot of trouble. In between the stewing of the soup, the boiled fish on the side was almost done. The moment the lid was lifted, the spicy and fresh aroma overbearingly filled the noses of the viewers who turned on the smell simulator. "Ah, this smell, I'm going to die, how can it be so fragrant? With this smell, I can drink 10 bottles of nutrition drinks in one go. How can I drink nutrition drinks with this smell? Host, hurry up and turn on the taste simulator, I can't wait anymore." The waves of aroma lingered at the tip of the noses, causing many viewers to drool. The calls for Su Yiyan to turn on the taste simulator also became louder than ever. Su Yiyan smiled and finally kept her promise. For the first time, she turned on the taste simulator in the stream. The bullet screen in the stream was silent for a minute or two, then it was greeted with a blowout explosion. "It's really spicy, but it's so addictive. I want more after eating it, I can't stop. The taste of the fish is too fresh. I spent a lot of money before. I ordered steamed fish at a high-class restaurant, but it's not as tender and not as fresh as this one. I love this taste." It was indeed a little stimulating at first, but the more I eat, the more delicious it is. I feel like I can eat several bowls of white rice with just this taste alone. In the past, I always thought that the nutrient solution was pretty good. Even if I occasionally bled a little and went to a high-end restaurant to eat some natural vegetables, I didn't think that it was that amazing. However, after eating the streamer's fish today, he suddenly understood why some people would not hesitate to go bankrupt in order to satisfy their desire for good food. Chapter 70. When Su Yiyan saw the last comment, she couldn't help but laugh. The chili she planted this time was semi-dehydrated, so it was obvious how spicy it was. Some people couldn't get used to putting it in the spicy boiled fish as seasoning, let alone eating it directly. Fortunately, this was just a taste simulation on the internet. If they dared to eat it in reality, they would probably die from the spiciness. The taste of chili itself is quite stimulating. It's best not to eat it dry, or you may have some symptoms of stress. Su Yiyan's kind reminder didn't hurt the audience's admiration for the spicy boiled fish. Many people had already tried to act cute and begged Su Yiyan to be merciful and change her mind to draw a prize. Su Yiyan was unmoved. She only smiled faintly and said, "When chili can be sold publicly in the future, everyone can cook fish at home and eat it. It's best to use grass carp to cook spicy boiled fish because grass carp is delicious and tough. Its meat won't break when it's boiled. The weather is getting colder now. Eating spicy things can promote blood circulation so the body and limbs won't be too cold. It also has the effect of strengthening the immune system. Grass carp is rich in nutrients. Eating more can also have the effect of beautifying the face and warming the stomach. However, eating a little is enough. Don't eat too much. It's easy to get heaty if you eat too much chili." However, these words didn't comfort the audience in the live broadcast room who were crying piteously for food. "Is that the fish I'm missing? I lack chili in the host's hands. When can we buy chili? I feel like we have to wait for a long time. Ooh, I feel like the host is fooling us. I can't refuse this recommendation." The audience in the live broadcast room was crying in their hearts because they couldn't eat the real hot spicy boiled fish. However, they couldn't resist the temptation of the delicious food and wolfed it down. Su Yiyan ignored the complaints on the pop-up screen and prepared the other 2 dishes she chose, Kung Pao chicken and spicy crayfish. The ingredients of these 2 dishes were relatively simple. The main ingredients were chicken breast and crayfish, and the more complicated seasonings and scattered side dishes. The chicken breast was okay, but many viewers were afraid of the crayfish's appearance. "These pincers are so big. I'm a little scared just looking at them." "I know. This is a crayfish. Its pincers are especially big and it's very painful when it pinches people. There are some near the beach near our house. The high-end restaurants nearby also sell this. I bought it once. It's a little fishy and earthy and it doesn't taste good either. I keep eating sand." "Sand?" Su Yiyan pondered for a moment and roughly figured out the reason. Most of the places where lobsters live have silt, so most of the lobsters still have silt in their bodies when they're caught. Before cooking them, you need to put them in clear water for 1 to 2 days. Let them spit out all the silt, then there won't be the smell of dirt. Other than that, prawns usually have a line, which is the black line on the back of the prawn. Su Yiyan purposely picked out the shrimp's intestine and showed it to the audience. This is the shrimp's excretory system, and it contains the shrimp's unfinished excretory waste. If you don't remove it, it won't be clean and it will affect the taste. Just like the audience member said, it will taste like sand and it will taste a little bitter. The viewers in the live stream, especially the one who had just said that there were crayfish near his house, were suddenly enlightened. Chapter 71. With the help of his knife skills, Su Yiyan quickly removed the shrimp lines from the large pot of crayfish and started to stir-fry a series of ingredients. Compared to the initial discomfort, the audience had gradually adapted to the taste of the chili. Many people had begun to drool even before the main ingredients were put in. Not to mention the audience who had turned on the taste simulation system. They were tasting the spicy boiled fish next to them while staring at the crayfish in Su Yiyan's hands. It could be said that they were looking at the pot while eating from the bowl. The crayfish and kung pao chicken were not difficult to make. After the ingredients were stir-fried, the main ingredients were put in and stir-fried. Then a series of spices were added and water was added to the sauce. As long as the fire was controlled well, there would be no dark cuisine. Although many people were afraid of the crayfish's slightly ferocious pincers at the beginning, when it came out of the pot, most people could not control their hands and mouths at all. This crayfish doesn't taste like dirt at all. It's sweet and chewy. It's super appetizing when paired with the spicy taste. Yes. There's a big difference between having shrimp lines and not having shrimp lines. The one I ate before was bitter and rough. Plus, it didn't have this spicy taste. It was edible, but compared to this one, it's like heaven and earth. What a waste of God's gift. Oof. It's great to eat, but the more I eat, the hungrier I get. My stomach is growling a few times. I seriously suspect that the streamer is doing this on purpose. Sob. I regret it. This is not a benefit at all. It was fine before. I could just take a whiff and I could still bear it. Now that I've eaten the streamer's dishes, how can I eat the tasteless nutrient solution? Although the taste simulation system in the live broadcast room could simulate the taste of food for people to taste, it was still virtual and not real. It could not give them a sense of fullness. As long as they thought about having to go back and drink the nutrient solution after tasting such delicious food, many people felt that they had nothing left to live for. Hua Chenhuan looked at the wailing and howling on the screen, but his mood was unprecedentedly happy. Howl all you want. No matter how much you howl, these dishes were made for him to eat. No one can snatch them. If it weren't for the fact that he didn't want to expose himself, he wouldn't even let Su Yiyan use the taste simulation system. Hua Chenhuan was feeling smug and gloomy at the same time. Suddenly she saw a few words on the screen and her face sank. Shameless trashy streamer. She even plagiarized our Lord Fuping for marketing purposes. Shameless B*TCH, do you really think that our Lord Fuping has no fans? The plagiarist was killed on the spot. Our great Fuping has just been invited to participate in a variety show, and someone can't wait to take advantage of the situation and plagiarize to get to the top. This trashy streamer is really shameless. At this time, Su Yiyan had just put the last dish into the pot. When he looked up, he saw these messages. His face sank, but he had a faint understanding that it was finally here. She flipped the vegetables in the pot as if nothing had happened and chuckled, "Are you trying to scam me?" These words angered the fans who came to find fault, and the bullet screen that popped out instantly became denser. Scamming? Our Lord Fuping is the #1 sister in the gourmet area. Why would she need to scam you, a little transparent person with only a few 100,000 fans? That's right. The streamer plagiarized shamelessly and wants to make a false accusation? Click. The sound of food being put into the pot could be heard, followed by a burst of fragrance that made people who smelled it want to swallow their saliva. Chapter 72. The people who were looking for trouble were stunned for a few seconds because of the sudden fragrance of the dishes, but when they heard this, they quickly reacted. Of course, the plagiarist won't admit to plagiarism. Who in the gourmet area doesn't know the name of our Fuping data? Recently, some swindlers have appeared in the gourmet area. Anyone who watches their live broadcast knows that they are imitating Fuping. Unfortunately, a fake is a fake and it can't become real. Fu Pingdada's last live broadcast before participating in the variety show was fish. The host made a big pot of fish today and dares to say that she didn't plagiarize? She's really shameless. These people came aggressively and confidently. At first, many people in the live broadcast room were shocked and unsure whether Su Yiyan had plagiarized or not. Now that they saw the rhetoric of these people, they couldn't help but laugh. Su Yiyan also laughed. She knew that there were creatures in this world called brainless fans. They went around arguing with people in the name of being good people. On the surface they were defending themselves, but in reality they were inviting criticism. The people in front of her were obviously this kind of people. Oh, so as long as it's cooking, whether it's fish or prawns, it's plagiarism? It turns out that the fish and prawns were all discovered by your dada. Only she can cook them and no one else can touch them. The gourmet area is also booked by your dada. As long as someone does this kind of live broadcast, it's because they watched your dada's live broadcast and copied her? If you have the guts, go and ask those seafood fishermen and the chefs of those high-end restaurants. See if they agree or not. Generally, most hosts would choose to turn a blind eye to such scams, and let their fans help fight back to prevent people with ulterior motives from taking things out of context and causing more trouble. Su Yiyan's direct rebuttal was a bit unexpected. The old viewers in the live broadcast room were the first to react. 666. The host is awesome. You should confront these disgusting KY fans directly like this. Yes. I've been sick of this Fu Ping for a long time. Although the things in her live broadcast room are really good, the way she speaks and her brainless fans are really not likable. Almost all the hosts in the gourmet area can see their KY fans in the live broadcast room and under the recording screen. They really treat the gourmet area as their home. Disgusting. I can testify to this. I saw them scolding a new host until she cried. They went up to greet other people's families. Their mouths are really smelly. Su Yiyan did not expect Wen Jingping to have so many die-hard fans. She had not even figured out how to deal with this so-called female lead, and these die-hard fans of hers had already ruined her passers-by's popularity. Those KYs who had failed to find fault with Su Yiyan were furious when they realized what had happened. Just as they were about to scold Su Yiyan, they realized that their accounts had been banned? Naturally, the angry crowd couldn't just let it go like that. Together with the keyboard warriors, they registered alternate accounts and came back to kill. Why did you block my account? Guilty? She got banned just because she asked a few questions. Does the streamer want to make the live stream her own words? Oh, Fu. Oh, you can be blocked. Do you need a reason? Hua Qinhuan's face was dark. She blocked all the other accounts again and asked Yu Zian to speed up the backstage identity verification. Chapter 73. The group of people who were dragged into the dark room again were furious. They wanted to register a new account, but they realized that there was an identity verification system in the background. They had to enter their identity information to complete the registration. Many of them filled in their information with a dark face, but they were told that they had been banned from the website. Not only were their previous accounts banned, but they also had no chance to register a new account. They were so angry that they almost smashed their phones. After another batch of accounts were banned, the live stream room returned to its original peaceful state. At this time, Su Yiyan's last dish was finally done. The last dish is done and the people are almost here. The soup will take about half an hour to finish. Because of the rush, I won't show you the final product. Today's live stream will end here. I might be busy tomorrow, so I might have to take a day off. When the specific time for the next live stream is confirmed, I will announce it in advance. If you are interested, please pay attention. As soon as Su Yiyan finished speaking, a bunch of gift effects appeared in the live stream room. At first, it was only the admin who was sending gifts, but later there were a few more people who took turns to send gifts. The scene was spectacular. Su Yiyan took a closer look and realized that most of the people who were sending gifts were the lucky viewers that she had picked before. After turning off the live stream, Su Yiyan breathed a sigh of relief. She walked out of the kitchen and asked a few servants to bring the big pot of boiled fish and 2 other dishes to the table. As soon as she turned around, she saw her parents and brother looking at her expectantly. Su Yiyan, you guys. Didn't you leave? Ahem. Father Su's wife pinched his arm. He said with a cold face, I heard from Auntie Li that Hua Qinhuan is coming to our house today? Su Yiyan. It was so hard for her to live under the watchful eyes of a group of people. Yes, he happened to be free today, so he wanted to come and see me. So that's why you woke up early in the morning and cooked a table full of dishes. Su Yuxuan's face was cold, but his heart was as sour as a lemon on a lemon tree. He didn't know when his sister learned to cook, but all she wanted to do was to wash her hands and make soup for that dog of a man. His heart ached. Cheng Xiuqin wasn't as hostile to Hu Chenhuan as the father and son, but she was very interested in the delicious dishes that her daughter made. She immediately said, "This is the first time he's coming to our house. We don't feel safe leaving you alone at home. Today we won't go anywhere. We'll stay here with you." That's right. This is the first time that the future son-in-law comes to visit, and there's no one at home to back you up. If people think that you don't have a backer, what if they bully you in the future? Su Yian almost cried. What was there to be worried about with him here? To bully me? Su Yian had already predicted the impending Shiraba 2.0. Her face was full of despair. Therefore, when Hu Chenhuan returned to the Su family with Dun Dun, who was eager to return home, he was met with the terrifying scene of everyone in the Su family sitting around a table full of fragrant dishes, waiting solemnly for his arrival. The moment he stepped through the door, the two men from the Su family stared at him with their cold gazes. Chapter 74. The duel between the three men began with their eyes. The moment their eyes met, sparks flew everywhere. It was frightening to watch. In the end, Su Yian was the first to break the silence. He stood up and walked over. "You're here. We're just in time for dinner. I'll take you there." Su Yian reached out his hand and squeezed Hu Chenhuan's shoulder. The warmth and softness that did not belong to him left as soon as he touched her. However, Hu Chenhuan's heart strangely settled down. Su Yian pushed Hu Chenhuan to sit next to him. At the same time, he asked Antly to take Dun Dun to the side to feed him dog food. Dun Dun was very unhappy. Before it left, it cried out a few times to Su Yian, complaining that its master brought its dog daddy to eat a big meal, but let it eat cold dog food. It really broke its heart. Sure enough, with a dog daddy, it lost its master's favor. Su Yian skillfully adjusted Hu Chenhuan's wheelchair to a position corresponding to the dining table. Unintentionally, he drew another wave of hatred for her. Cheng Xiuqin saw this small detail. His eyes flashed, but he said nothing in the end. "Everyone's here. Let's start eating. The dishes I made today are a little heavy. Try them and see if you like them. If you like them, I'll make them again next time." These words were clearly said to everyone present. However, Hu Chenhuan subconsciously felt that Su Yian said it to him. Hu Chenhuan's hands, which were hanging by his side, tightened slightly. Then, a hand reached over from the side, gently but forcefully separated his fingers, and interlocked their fingers. The three people on the other side of the table did not notice the small movement between the two. When they heard Su Yian's words, they looked at each other and picked up their chopsticks to grab a piece of fish. It was not that Antly had never made fish for them before. It was just that most of the time she made steamed fish. Although the taste was not bad, they always felt that something was missing. The moment the fish made by Su Yian entered their mouths, it gave them a very different taste stimulation. Cheng Xiuqin usually had a mild taste. When he took the first bite, he frowned, but he was not in a hurry to spit it out. He chewed carefully, and after eating one piece, he took a break for a while before picking up the second piece. Mr. Su and his son were not as reserved as she was. They seemed to be the type who loved spicy food since their eyes lit up after just one bite. After that, without needing Su Yian's instructions, they automatically reached their chopsticks towards the fish bowl. Su Yian was a little relieved when he saw that they didn't reject the taste of chili. He also saw that Hu Chenhuan didn't want to fight with them for the chopsticks, so he took the initiative to pick up a few pieces of fried fish steaks and fresh fish belly and put them in front of him. "Eat more fish to nourish yourself." Hu Chenhuan's eyes warmed as she replied in a low voice, "Yes." When Mr. Su and Su Yuxuan saw this scene, they started to feel jealous again. Umph. Su Yian lowered his head and held back his laughter. He ignored the two men's childish dissatisfaction and picked up a crayfish to peel. Hu Chenhuan had just finished eating a piece of fish when he looked up and met Su Yian's sparkling eyes. "I specially asked someone to bring this crayfish over yesterday. I put it in the water for a whole day and spat out all the mud in its stomach. Now it doesn't taste like mud at all. It's very sweet." Cough, 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 cough. Before Su Yian finished speaking, a trio of coughs sounded in his ears. He turned his head in confusion and saw that the three people opposite him were staring at the crayfish in his hand with incomparable passion. Chapter 75. Su Yian's hand that was holding the prawn moved to the left, and their eyes followed suit. When she moved to the right, their eyes also followed suit. Su Yian's eyes were full of smiles. She tentatively put the prawn meat into Huo Qinhuan's bowl. Sure enough, they couldn't sit still anymore. Cough cough cough. Cheng Xiuqin cleared her throat and said meaningfully, "I've been out late with my sisters for the past few days. My mouth always feels bitter and I don't have an appetite for anything." With her leading the conversation, Su Yuxuan hurriedly chimed in, "Me too. Recently, I've had to go out to socialize when discussing business deals. I drank a little too much and my mouth tastes bitter. It's so dry that I feel uncomfortable." Although Mr. Su didn't join them in the commotion, his eyes fixed on the prawn meat was actually a crazy hint. Su Yiyan glanced at the three people who were crying piteously for food, then turned to look at Huo Qinhuan. In the end, she put the first piece of prawn meat she peeled into her mother's bowl. "Mom, eat this prawn. It's beautifying and tastes good." Cheng Xiuqin was overjoyed. She looked around like a victorious peacock. After showing off her position in the family, she picked up the red and white prawn meat and stuffed it into her mouth. With just one bite, she was captivated by the chewy texture. "Delicious. Eat more if it's delicious." Su Yiyan picked up another prawn and peeled it. In an instant, everyone's eyes were focused on her hands. Cheng Xiuqin won first place and was content to watch from the sidelines. Mr. Su, on the other hand, was a little nervous. He was afraid that he would fall behind the two juniors. It was natural for him to be one step behind his wife. However, if his position in his daughter's heart was lower than the two juniors, then it was really, fortunately, Su Yiyan didn't disappoint him. The second prawn successfully landed in Mr. Su's bowl. Mr. Su breathed a sigh of relief. He happily picked up the prawn that his precious daughter had peeled for him and put it into his mouth. If there weren't outsiders present, he would have taken out his phone to take a 360-degree picture of the prawn and posted it on his WeChat account. He would have made his old classmates jealous and hate him. Seeing that his parents each had a prawn, Su Yuxuan, on the other hand, was calm. He didn't believe that in his sister's heart, he was inferior to a wild man that she had only known for a few days. However, many things in this world was what he feared most. After Su Yiyan peeled the third prawn, she didn't even look at her big brother. And naturally, she reached for Huo Qinhuan's bowl. Cough cough cough. Cough cough cough. Su Yuxuan's expression changed slightly. He coughed like a severely ill patient, but he still could not stop the third prawn from landing in Huo Qinhuan's bowl. Mises mice? My. At this moment, Su Yiyan turned to look at him in confusion. She asked worriedly, "Brother, do you have a cold? Why are you coughing so badly all of a sudden?" Su Yuxuan made a last-ditch effort and hinted weakly, "I want to eat prawns too. It's best not to eat seafood when you have a cold." Su Yuxuan instantly became like a cat whose tail had been stepped on. She exploded on the spot. "No, I want to eat prawns. Now, immediately, right now." Su Yiyan's face was cold. "Oh, then peel it yourself. How old are you? If you want to eat prawns, then eat them. Why are you so fierce? You're crazy." Su Yuxuan received a look of disdain from his sister. A mouthful of old blood was stuck in his throat. Chapter 76. Elder brother Su, who had failed in his attempt to beg for food and had been despised instead, silently teared up and was self-sufficient. Su Yiyan glanced at him and retracted her gaze to see if Huo Qinhuan liked to eat crayfish. Before she could turn her head, a piece of plump and fragrant crayfish meat was delivered to her mouth. Su Yiyan turned her head in confusion and met Huo Qinhuan's gentle and smiling eyes. After being stunned for a moment, Su Yiyan quickly reacted. Her eyebrows curved as she opened her mouth and ate the crayfish meat. Her soft lips brushed against his slender fingers. Huo Qinhuan's eyes darkened, and there was a hint of forbearance and restraint in the depths of his eyes. This intimate feeding scene naturally fell into the eyes of the three people sitting opposite them. They felt like they had lost somewhere. After Su Yiyan finished eating the crayfish meat that Huo Qinhuan handed her, she suddenly seemed to have thought of something and chuckled. "What's wrong?" "Nothing, I just suddenly thought of a saying that I read before." "Saying?" "Crayfish are very troublesome to eat, so there was a saying on the internet before. To determine whether a man is worth entrusting your life to, you have to see if he's willing to peel crayfish for you, and how long he's willing to peel crayfish for you." Huo Qinhuan's eyes flickered. She silently picked up the crayfish on the plate and began peeling it. After about 10 seconds, another piece of crayfish meat appeared in Su Yiyan's bowl. "For a lifetime." "What?" As long as you like it, it's for a lifetime. Su Yiyan quickly realized that Hua Qinhuan's words meant that as long as she liked it, he could peel crayfish for her for a lifetime. Her face instantly turned red, and she silently lowered her head to pick up the crayfish meat in her bowl. The crayfish meat that had perfectly absorbed the soup should have been spicy, but Su Yiyan felt that it was strangely sweet in her mouth. Mr. Su and elder brother Su, who were silently sitting opposite them. This dog of a man only knows how to sweet-talk my daughter, sister. Beast scum. Before the father and son could react, Qing Xiuqin took the initiative and pushed his bowl in front of Father Su. Mr. Su, who had been a slave to his wife for 20 to 30 years, immediately understood what his wife meant. He immediately forgot about his anger and sat beside his wife, diligently peeling the prawns for her. She even had the thought of competing with Hua Qinhuan. She peeled the prawns neatly. In just a moment she had stacked half a bowl of prawns for Qing Xiuqin. Brother Su watched as his father changed sides at the last minute. Apart from him, all the single dogs at the table were in pairs, sweetly peeling prawns for each other. F***CK, everyone is bullying me for being single. Don't single dogs have human rights? Just like that, a nice lunch had somehow turned into a battlefield of public displays of affection. As the only single dog present, Su Yuxuan had no choice but to tuck his tail between his legs to survive. He was also forced to eat a stomach full of dog food. The resentment on his head was almost tangible. Although Su Yiyan didn't expect so many people to stay at home to eat, the amount of food she cooked was still sufficient. When the 5 of them were about 70 to 80% full, Su Yiyan got up and rushed into the kitchen to bring out a bowl of cinnamon pork belly soup. Mom, you and Qinhuan should drink more. This soup is specially made to ward off the cold. After drinking it, your hands and feet won't always feel cold in winter. Hua Qinhuan's legs were inconvenient, so her limbs were always a little cold. Especially in winter, it was normal for her hands and feet to feel cold. Qing Xiuqin was the same. In winter, her hands and feet couldn't warm up. Su Yiyan had originally planned to leave an extra bowl for her. As for her father and brother, they were strong and healthy, so it wasn't good to eat too much. Forget it. Chapter 77. Regardless of the effect of the soup, drinking such a steaming bowl of soup after the meal warmed up their bodies from the inside out. It was very refreshing. In the end, there was not much left in the large bowl of soup, and almost all of it went into their stomachs. They went from being 70 or 80% full to 80 or 90% full. Once a person ate too much, they would feel drowsy and sleepy. The Su family was in a similar situation now. However, at the thought that someone was still here, the sleepiness in Mr. Su and Brother Su's heads suddenly flew away. They looked at Hua Qinhuan with more scrutiny. Come with me to the study. Mr. Su looked Hua Qinhuan up and down and said before leaving with Su Yuxuan. Hua Qinhuan's hand that was holding the wheelchair tightened, but she did not say anything. She obediently followed behind the 2 of them and left. Su Yiyan was a little anxious when he saw this. He got up and was about to follow, but Qing Xiuqin stopped him. Mom, Dad and brother, what's wrong with them? They just want to talk to him about something. It's not like they're going to swallow him alive. Look at how nervous you are. Just wait here with me. You're not allowed to go anywhere. Su Yiyan was not comforted at all. He thought that they would not swallow him alive, but they would do something worse than that. At that moment, the father and son, who were already determined to do something terrible, walked into the study and went straight to the point. Regarding the list of betrothal gifts that family who recently handed over, there are some things that I need to confirm with you in person. I also have some questions that I want to ask you in person. Go ahead. Mr. Su stared into Hua Qinhuan's eyes and said seriously, are you sure that you want to give all those things under your name to Yan Yan as betrothal gifts? If it were not for the fact that he suddenly wanted to become in-laws with Hua Qinhuan, Mr. Su would not have known that Hua Qinhuan had so many businesses under her name. She did not lose out to the current head of family Hua Qihan. She might even have more businesses than Hua Qihan. Yes. Hua Qinhuan said without thinking, in my opinion, nothing in this world can compare to her. What's mine is hers. Yan Yan said you've liked her for a long time. Is that true? Hua Qinhuan's expression changed slightly, and his eyes couldn't help but reveal some surprise and confusion. However, he quickly calmed down and said truthfully, it's true. I've liked her for a long time, longer than any of you think. Mr. Su's eyes turned cold. If that's the case, why didn't you say so earlier? You didn't show up when Yan Yan and Hua Xiaofeng were engaged? Because I'm afraid that I won't be able to control myself. Su Yuxuan raised an eyebrow. Can't control yourself? More than anyone else, I want to have her, own her, and even monopolize her. The faces of the father and son of the Su family darkened. They looked at Huo Qinhuan with eyes as sharp as arrows, wishing that they could poke 17 or 18 holes in his body right now. Huo Qinhuan turned a blind eye to their hostility. In his opinion, the biggest problem between him and Su Yiyan at that time was never anyone else but himself. But I can't do that because I can't give her happiness. She should have a complete marriage without regrets, a healthy husband, and a lovely child. Then why have you changed your mind now? Chapter 78. Mr. Su was silent for a long time, then he sighed. Actually, I was very opposed to this marriage from the beginning. Huo Qinhuan's eyes darkened, and a trace of hostility flashed across his eyes. Mr. Su seemed to have realized something and he sneered. It's not just because of your legs but also because of you. You're too lethargic. He was clearly a young man in his early 20s, but he always gave people a sense of lethargy and coldness, as if he had one foot in the grave. He was like a black panther hibernating in the abyss, ruthless and ruthless. He could rush out at any time, snap your throat and take you down to hell with him, never to be reincarnated. As a father, even if he knew that such a person was not an ordinary person, he would never want his daughter to be entangled with such a dangerous person. But after seeing the way the two of them interacted with each other, Mr. Su's thoughts unexpectedly changed. Huo Qinhuan might indeed be a dangerous person, but the way he looked at his daughter could not lie. When he looked at other people, there was only coldness and depth in his eyes, like a god overlooking the world from a high position, and he would not feel any sadness or joy for the ants in his eyes. But when such a person faced Su Yiyan, there was a light in his dead eyes. When a high and mighty god was pulled down from his altar and had emotions like an ordinary person, then the person who caused all this must be the most important person to him. I don't believe that there are pure good and bad people in this world. Maybe my first impression of you wasn't good, but after seeing how you interacted with Yan Yan, I'm willing to take a gamble. The premise is that you can fulfill your promise and never let her get hurt. Huo Qinhuan did not say anything nice and only replied with incomparable sincerity, "Don't worry. Remember what you said." Huo Qinhuan and the others did not talk for long. After about half an hour they came out. Su Yiyan immediately went up to them and said nervously, "Are you okay? Did they make things difficult for you? Or did they say anything bad to you? No matter what they say, don't take it to heart. They're just worried about me. They don't mean anything else." Huo Qinhuan looked at Su Yiyan's anxious expression and the corners of his lips curled up slightly. He took the initiative to hold her hand and said, "No, we're just discussing the wedding next month." "Really? Really? You have a great family." Huo Qinhuan was actually not disgusted by the Su family's targeting of her. The more they targeted her, the more it showed that they cared about Su Yiyan. This was a lovely family, and it was because of this lovely family that there was Su Yiyan who was worthy of love. Su Yiyan smiled when she heard Huo Qinhuan's words. She leaned close to Huo Qinhuan's ear and said cheerfully, "They will also be your family in the future." Huo Qinhuan's heart trembled violently. "Yes." After confirming that Huo Qinhuan was not in a difficult position, Su Yiyan was slightly relieved. Thinking of the original plan, she asked carefully, "My friend is coming back tomorrow. I want to go out and buy her some gifts. Do you want to accompany me?" Su Yiyan was actually very uncertain when she asked this question. She did not know how long Huo Qinhuan had not gone out shopping. At least in all her memories of her previous life, she had never gone out. This was a bold attempt, and at the same time it was also a kind of test. The owner of Dundon's fiancé? Yes. Chapter 79. Gu Xiaoyang and Yu Zian were shocked when they found out that Huo Qinhuan was going shopping with Su Yiyan. Ever since Huo Qinhuan's leg became like this due to the accident, he had never attended public places such as banquets or shopping malls. He would not go out if he could. If he had not heard about Su Yiyan's incident, he would not have appeared at Huo Qihan's house that day. But now, he had promised Su Yiyan that he would accompany her to the shopping malls where people came and went. Gu Xiaoyang and Yu Zian looked at Su Yiyan as if she was an evil concubine who would bring disaster to the country. Su Yiyan did not care about what they thought. She took Huo Qinhuan straight to the nearest department store. "What do you think I should get her?" "And Hua, she's Dundon's fiancée. She's our future daughter-in-law. We have to buy her a gift or something." Hua Chenhuan was almost amused by her. That dog is called Wawa. If she's our daughter-in-law, won't your friend be our in-law? Su Yiyan smiled and nodded hurriedly. You can say that. Is there anything she likes? Her? She likes money. Money? Hua Chenhuan was a little confused by this elegant and refined answer. Su Yiyan frowned slightly and showed a trace of disgust. Hua Chenhuan noticed this immediately. The smile in her eyes faded a little and she asked with concern, "What's wrong?" Su Yiyan shook her head. "Forget it, I won't ask you. If I ask you to buy something for her, it'll feel like you're helping to pick out a gift for her. I'll be jealous." Yu Zian, who was a few steps behind the two of them, vaguely heard the last sentence. Were all girls so direct these days? When Hua Chenhuan heard Su Yiyan's words, she was stunned as well. Her expression softened as she replied in a low voice, "Okay." In the end, Su Yiyan decided to go to the clothing and accessory store, and then go to the pet store to buy some toys for Dun Dun and its little friend. In the end, Su Yiyan chose a beige scarf from the new autumn/winter style. Just as she was about to take her things to the counter, she suddenly saw another man's scarf not far away. Hua Chenhuan sat in his wheelchair and looked at the people coming and going in the shopping mall. His eyes were cold and deep, and no one could tell whether he was happy or angry. Suddenly, a warm scarf was wrapped around his neck. Hua Chenhuan was slightly stunned. He raised his head and met Su Yiyan's sparkling eyes. "Do you like it?" Hua Chenhuan touched the soft and warm scarf around his neck. His dead eyes were gradually filled with a warm smile. "I like it. Winter is coming. We have to buy a scarf. Oh, and a hat." Although Yu Zian and Gu Xiaoyang had been following the two of them, they had kept a certain distance from Hua Chenhuan and Su Yiyan to make it easier for them to date. Just like now, when the two of them were picking things in the store, the two of them were guarding outside the store to see if there were any suspicious people among the pedestrians walking around the store. When they turned their heads, they saw the future young madam pushing their young master to the clothing and hats section. She put all kinds of hats on their young master's head as if she was treating a beloved model doll. After trying on about a dozen hats, Su Yiyan's eyes suddenly fell on the green hat in the corner. Hua Chenhuan was speechless. Chapter 80. Su Yiyan seemed to be a little surprised by the two hats. She raised her hand and was about to reach for them. Yu Zian and Gu Xiaoyang's expressions changed drastically. They almost screamed, "Young mistress, stop." As if she had heard their inner cries, Su Yiyan's hand paused before touching the two hats. She silently withdrew her hand. Then she turned her head and met Hua Chenhuan's gaze. Su Yiyan blinked and joked, "You like this?" Hua Chenhuan, the scapegoat who loves being cuckolded, was speechless. Outside the shop, Gu Xiaoyang and Yu Zian were even more furious. Which ordinary man would like a cuckolded hat? Su Yiyan looked at Hua Chenhuan's pitiful look. She finally couldn't help but laugh. "Even if you really like this, I won't buy it for you. Give up." Hua Chenhuan was speechless. No, he really didn't like it at all. After trying on so many hats, Su Yiyan really couldn't decide which one to buy. Just then, a voice suddenly came from not far away. "No, this is too expensive. It's almost half a year's salary. I'll go back and buy some needles and thread later. It's warm and practical. It's not that expensive." Su Yiyan subconsciously looked in the direction of the voice. Only then did she realize that a young man and a young woman were standing in the scarf section next to them. The girl looked thin and small. She spoke softly and cautiously, like a little white rabbit that was easily frightened. The man standing next to her was in a suit, looking like a successful man in society. When he heard the girl's words, his face darkened, especially when he realized that there were other people not far away. "It's fine if it's a normal day, but I'm taking you to meet my old classmates tomorrow. Do you want others to think that I'm abusing you by dressing like this? Or do you want my classmates to know that I was blind to have such a rustic girlfriend like you?" The girl's face turned pale and she gripped her bag tightly. From Su Yiyan's angle, she could see the girl's red eyes glistening with tears. Su Yiyan frowned slightly. He looked down on this kind of straight man who yelled and ridiculed his girlfriend for the sake of his own face. However, he was not qualified to meddle in the private affairs of a young couple. He could only look away. What the eye doesn't see, the heart doesn't grieve over. Unexpectedly, she was too lazy to pay attention to this unpleasant episode. However, the man's pride seemed to have been hurt by the fact that there were people watching him. After scolding his girlfriend, he turned his attention to the two people not far away. When he saw the faces of Hua Chenhuan and Su Yu, he was obviously stunned for a moment. Jealousy and envy almost overflowed from his eyes. However, his gaze then landed on Huo Qinhuan's legs. His eyes turned slightly as if he had understood something. He sneered, full of contempt and mockery. All right. If I tell you to buy it, then buy it. Why are you talking so much? It's not like we don't have money on hand. Unlike some poor people who should just stay at home and pretend to be rich. Aren't you afraid of being laughed at by others? The man had seen Su Yiyan trying on so many hats but still unable to decide which one to buy. He thought that she was hesitating because she was worried about money. Chapter 81. Su Yiyan heard this and saw the way he looked at Huo Qinhuan. Her face instantly turned gloomy. She threw the hat on the shelf and shouted, "Waiter?" The waiter in the store had been paying attention to the situation. When he heard Su Yiyan's call, he immediately trotted over and asked with a professional smile, "Miss, is there anything I can help you with? Help me pack up everything in that area and this area, except for the green hat, and send it to the Qingnan family Hua." The waiter's eyes flashed and said obediently, "Okay, I'll get someone to pack it up for you." Also, Su Yiyan stopped the waiter and took out a black card and handed it to him. "Ask this gentleman to leave. In the future, all the stores under the Su family's name don't need to receive him." The waiter's face changed slightly and his attitude towards Su Yiyan became more respectful. "Don't worry, I'll ask someone to ask this gentleman to leave." Security. When the man heard Su Yiyan's words, his face turned green and white and green again, as if he had been slapped dozens of times. When he saw the waiter call for security, it was clear that he was serious. His face became more and more ugly. "Who are you? Why are you asking me to leave? And you, I'm a customer, a god. Aren't you afraid that I'll sue you for treating me like this?" How could Su Yiyan not hear the panic hidden in the man's clamor? She sneered, "Just because this shopping mall is owned by my family, if you want to sue, then sue. If the legal fees are not enough, I can even support you." The man's face turned pale. He finally realized that he had kicked an iron plate and was speechless for a moment. The security guard quickly came in, followed by 2 intelligent robots to maintain order. If the person being chased out did not cooperate with violent resistance, these robots could use some forceful means to ask the person to leave. "Our shop is run by a pauper. We can't afford such a distinguished customer like you. Please leave." Su Yiyan's words could be said to be harsh. The man's face turned black. He pushed away the security guard who wanted to pull him and shouted, "Don't touch me, I'll leave by myself." After yelling, he left in a huff, not even caring about his girlfriend. Only the girl was left standing there awkwardly. She looked at the 2 of them apologetically and hurriedly followed them out. Although Su Yiyan felt pity for this girl, she knew that everyone had their own choices. If she was willing to choose such a man, then no one could help her. After driving away the eyesore, Su Yiyan still felt extremely uncomfortable. Just as she was wondering how to comfort Huo Qinhuan, she met his smiling eyes. "Were you standing up for me just now?" She had thought that she would be sad, but she was unexpectedly a little happy. For some reason, Su Yiyan suddenly felt a little shy. She snorted coldly and said in an imposing manner, "With me here, no one can bully you." Huo Qinhuan stared at Su Yiyan's slightly raised chin. He only felt that the person in front of him was like a small sun, tirelessly shining around him, burning away all the darkness that could come close to him. He loved this light and unconsciously followed it. Even if he was trapped in it, he had no regrets. Huo Qinhuan took the initiative to reach out and hold Su Yiyan's hand. She smiled faintly and said, "Aren't we going to the pet shop?" "But you." Su Yiyan was a little hesitant. "With you here, who can bully me?" Chapter 82. Gu Xiaoyang and Yu Zian, who were outside the glass wall, wanted to come in and help the moment the man opened his mouth. However, Huo Qinhuan stopped them with a look. Seeing this scene, the 2 of them had mixed feelings. They were happy that someone was willing to protect Huo Qinhuan, but they couldn't help but worry. The pet shop was only a few steps away from the shop where Su Yiyan and the others were. They arrived in a short while. Su Yiyan was quite familiar with this place. She quickly found the cat and dog section and focused on picking things with Huo Qinhuan. Halfway through, a kitten in the arms of a customer suddenly threw a tantrum. It howled and knocked over the cup in its owner's hand. Everything happened so suddenly that a small part of the water splashed onto Su Yiyan's skirt. The owner of the kitten was shocked when she saw that her cat had caused trouble. She quickly apologized to Su Yiyan while controlling the kitten. I'm sorry. My cat is too naughty. I'm really sorry. Su Yiyan glanced at the spot where the water had splashed. Since it wasn't a big problem, she didn't argue with the cat owner. Hua Chenhuan glanced at the man coldly. She frowned and suggested, let's go back to the shop and change your clothes. No need to go through so much trouble. I'll go to the bathroom to tidy up. Do you need me to go with you? Su Yiyan thought of something and blushed. She shook her head and said, no, the bathroom is quite close. I'll be back in a while. Hua Chenhuan didn't force her. She nodded and agreed. However, after Su Yiyan left, she unexpectedly saw a familiar figure. Hua Chenhuan's long and narrow eyes narrowed dangerously. She gave Yu Zian, who was not far away, a wink. Yu Zian instantly understood and quickly followed her. Su Yiyan went into the bathroom to tidy up her clothes. She was ready to go back. She didn't expect to meet an old acquaintance just as she walked out of the bathroom. Why are you here? Hua Xiaofeng raised his eyebrows and sneered, you think you can swagger here with my uncle to buy things? Can't I? Su Yiyan replied coldly. She walked past him and wanted to leave, but Hua Xiaofeng grabbed her wrist. I know you took the initiative to propose a marriage alliance with my uncle in order to take revenge on me for breaking off the engagement and for falling in love with another woman. You don't love him at all. You're just using him, right? Su Yiyan almost punched him when he heard that. He sneered and said, if I don't love him, who do I love? Is that you? Hua Xiaofeng was stunned for a moment. He said proudly, I know how you feel and I know you're angry and sad because I broke off the engagement. But feelings can't be forced. Although we can't be husband and wife, we can still be friends. You shouldn't let your emotions affect your decisions. Using such an extreme method to hurt yourself and attract my attention is very irrational. Hua Xiaofeng didn't think it was enough. He even added, if it wasn't for Jingping, I might have followed my family's arrangement and been together with you. But God let me meet her. This means that we're not fated to be together. This is God's arrangement. No matter if it's you or me, we can't go against it. No matter how you struggle, it's useless. Chapter 83. Su Yiyan, who was inexplicably stuffed with a groundless love that turned into hatred, and was even dragged by the scumbag to tell her about his deep affection for a certain someone, felt goosebumps all over her body. She was so angry that she laughed and decided not to leave. She shook off Hua Xiaofeng's hand and took 2 steps back. She chuckled and said, where did you get the confidence to think that I'm so deeply in love with you that I can't extricate myself from it? I'm even willing to sacrifice my own happiness to attract your attention and beg you to look back at me? Su Yiyan couldn't help but shudder after she finished speaking. Did this man really think that he was a stallion? Any woman who saw him would be infatuated with him and would live or die for him. She wasn't cheap. These days, 4-legged toads weren't easy to find, but 2-legged men were everywhere, okay? Not to mention, there was such an outstanding man who was in love with her. How stupid must she be to fall in love with someone who might not even be found in the trash? You don't have to rush to deny it. I understand everything. Su Yiyan was dumbfounded. She thought to herself, what do you understand? Are all scumbags these days so narcissistic? If you don't have such feelings for me, why would you try so hard to get engaged to me? Why would you be so angry when you found out that I was with Jingping, to the point that you didn't even hesitate to marry my uncle? Su Yiyan furrowed her brows. She wanted to say that she didn't feel wronged at all when she married Hua Chenhuan and that it was the happiest thing in her life. Unfortunately, before she could say it, Hua Xiaofeng interrupted her again. Don't tell me that this was an accident. You clearly had many other choices after the engagement was called off. Why did you insist on marrying my uncle, who is from the same family as me? Su Yiyan. Scumbag, you're too dramatic. I really don't know how to cooperate with you. You dare to say that you don't have any feelings for me? Why wouldn't I dare to say it? Su Yiyan looked at Hua Xiaofeng as if he was looking at an idiot who thought too highly of himself. Unexpectedly, in Hua Xiaofeng's eyes, this glance was seen as a sad expression on her face. He felt more and more certain that his guess was right, and the corners of his mouth couldn't help but curl up crazily. I knew it. How could anyone like a cripple like Hua Chenhuan? I heard that the car accident that year not only crippled his legs, but also caused him to lose his ability to reproduce. A man like him who can't stand on his own 2 feet, if you really want to get married, can he satisfy you? Can it make you a real woman? Su Yiyan was a little impatient when he heard Hua Xiaofeng's smug bragging. However, when he heard the latter part of the sentence, his face instantly darkened. His gaze towards Hu Xiaofeng also became murderous. Say that again. What? Hu Xiaofeng was stunned. He curled his lips and said disdainfully, "He's just a cripple." Ouch! Before he could say the word cripple, Hu Xiaofeng was in so much pain that he almost knelt on the ground. His entire face turned red. Where was the complacent look that he had when he said that Su Yiyan still had feelings for him? At the corner of the corridor, Hu Xiaofeng's words had also made Yu Ziyan restless. He wanted to rush out and beat him up, but his body suddenly stiffened. For some reason he felt the same as Hu Xiaofeng's pain in the ass. Chapter 84. Su Yiyan looked at the finger that was about to hit her. Her eyes turned cold as she sneered, "I hate it when people point fingers at me." Without waiting for the other two to react, she grabbed Hu Xiaofeng's wrist and pulled him forward. Then she threw him over her shoulder. Bang! Just by listening to the sound, one could imagine how painful it must be for the person who was being thrown around like a sandbag. Su Yiyan was furious and did not show any mercy. Hu Xiaofeng was not only in pain from the lower half of his body, but also felt like his entire body was about to fall apart. He was paralyzed on the ground and could not get up for a long time. Even so, he still stared at Su Yiyan. His ferocious expression was really frightening. "How dare you? How dare you? For a cripple, you..." Su Yiyan was about to leave, but when she heard what he said, she immediately turned back and gave him another kick without hesitation. The miserable shriek made one's hair stand on end, but it was not enough to arouse Su Yiyan's compassion. She was about to explode from anger. "Cripple your sister. Today I'll let you have a taste of being a cripple," Su Yiyan said as she kicked Hu Xiaofeng with all her strength. She even chose to step on those painful acupoints. "If a tiger doesn't show its might, you guys really think I'm a sick cat? What did you just say? Was I the one who tried every possible way to marry you? F***ck, does your whole family have Alzheimer's and intermittent amnesia? Back then, it was your parents who took the initiative to come to my house and beg my grandparents. They took advantage of the fact that your mother and my mother were best friends in university and begged my parents to betroth me to you. How long has it been since then? How did it become me trying every possible way to marry you? You're distorting the truth. Aren't you afraid that the wind will cut your tongue? You be *tc. Before Hu Xiaofeng could finish cursing, Su Yiyan kicked him again. "As for the annulment of the engagement and the matter between you and that shameless mistress, do you think you're worthy of it? Do you think that I would give up on such a rare treasure and pick up a pair of used shoes instead?" Hu Xiaofeng was in so much pain that his forehead was drenched in cold sweat. When he heard Su Yiyan describe him as a pair of broken shoes, he almost lost his breath and died of anger on the spot. "You really think you're so popular? Why don't you take a look at yourself? Hu Xiaofeng, as a piece of trash, please stay in the trash. Don't come out and pollute the environment, okay? How dare you compare yourself to my Qinhuan when you're such a coward? How dare you talk about him like that? Who asked you to keep your mouth clean? Who asked you to keep talking? Who asked you to keep talking?" The more Su Yiyan spoke, the angrier she got. She kicked Hu Xiaofeng a few more times. Yu Ziyan, who was observing from the side, was speechless. He thought that she was a daughter flower that only knew how to cry. He didn't expect her to be a man-eating flower. With that thought in mind, Yu Ziyan sneaked a peek at Hu Xiaofeng, who was lying on the ground like a dead dog and was barely breathing. At the same time, he couldn't help but feel a chill down his spine. The future young madam's fighting spirit was a little too strong. When he thought about how this young madam might get into an argument with their young master after marrying into the family, that scene, Yu Ziyan was so scared by his own imagination that he shuddered. However, with how much young master doted on young madam, they probably wouldn't get into an argument. Wow. Chapter 85. After punching Hu Xiaofeng to her heart's content, Su Yiyan felt a little better after venting some of her grievances from 2 lifetimes. She let out a sigh of relief, tidied up her slightly messy clothes, and instantly changed from a domineering flower back to a cute little sweetheart. However, this little sweetheart's words were still full of hostility and threat. "Remember to respectfully call me and Qinhuan uncle and aunt when you see us in the future. Otherwise, I'll cripple you every time I see you." After saying this, Su Yiyan did not even look at Hu Xiaofeng, and hurriedly left in her high heels. Not long after she left, Yu Ziyan sneaked out from around the corner. Looking down at Hua Xiaofeng, who was not sure if he was alive or dead, he vented his anger and cursed, "Serves you right." After Su Yiyan left, she did not stay outside for long, and quickly returned to the pet shop. The moment she saw Hua Chenhuan, Su Yiyan's originally restless heart finally calmed down completely, and the smile on her face became more genuine. "Did you wait long? My stomach suddenly felt a little uncomfortable, so I stayed a little longer." "You don't have to apologize. Are you still feeling uncomfortable?" Su Yiyan was stunned for a moment before she realized that Hua Chenhuan was asking her if she still felt uncomfortable with her stomach. She did not know why, but her eyes suddenly felt a little sore. God was really unfair. Why should such a good person be looked down upon and slandered by others because of the harm she had suffered in the past? Thinking of this, Su Yiyan felt a little regretful. She should have kicked that scum a few more times. If Yu Zian, who was busy cleaning up the mess, knew what Su Yiyan was thinking at that moment, he would probably sigh and say, "Young mistress, if you kicked him a few more times, he would really die." "It's okay, I don't feel uncomfortable anymore." "Did you see anything else just now?" "No, I'm not very familiar with these things." "Then forget it, these things are enough for them to play with. Let's go back. Dun Dun must be waiting for us at home." Hua Chenhuan was not in a hurry to answer. Instead, she glanced at Yu Zian, who had just returned with Su Yiyan. After receiving an affirmative nod from the other party, he replied with a faint smile, "All right." Su Yiyan and Su Yiyan got rid of the eyesore and happily went home with the small gifts they had chosen. On the other hand, when Jingping, who was finally able to get some fresh air, followed Hua Xiaofeng to the shopping mall to pick out clothes, was not so lucky. She waited in the clothing store for a long time, but Hua Xiaofeng didn't come back. She called him several times but no one answered. In the end, he could only change out of the clothes he had chosen under the waiter's meaningful gaze and leave in a sorry state. After coming out of the clothing store, when Jingping's entire face was dark, she suppressed her anger and took out her phone to call Hua Xiaofeng again. Of course, the call didn't go through again. When Jingping was so angry that her teeth itched, she directly blocked Hua Xiaofeng's phone number. She opened her contact list and wanted to call a friend over to pick her up. However, a private message suddenly popped up in the back end of her live stream room. The content of the private message was not unfamiliar to her. The general idea was that someone in the gourmet area had plagiarized her live stream and had gained the support of many people. At first, when Jingping didn't pay much attention to it, she felt that no matter what, these people couldn't be a threat to her. They were just imitating others. Until she saw the holographic image of the spicy boiled fish at the end of the private message, when Jingping's pupils shrank. The hand holding the phone trembled. Chapter 86. Su Yiyan didn't know that when Jingping had noticed her with just a holographic projection and was afraid of her. Sure enough, Dun Dun liked the small gifts that the two of them brought back. As soon as they were handed to it, it pounced on it and hugged it tightly. Su Yiyan took the opportunity to stuff the dog and the gifts into Hua Chenhuan's hands and let him bring them home. Poor Dun Dun was given away again after returning home for a few hours. Before it left, it almost cried, threw a tantrum and acted cute. It clung tightly to its owner's sleeves and refused to let go. Helpless, its owner had a stepfather. She had long changed from a biological mother to a stepmother. No matter how shamelessly it threw a tantrum, it couldn't beat a soft call from its stepfather. "Chi-Chi's flight is tomorrow morning. I have to pick her up. Let's have lunch together?" "Okay." Hua Chenhuan didn't really like to meet strangers unless it was unavoidable for business. But he liked it when Su Yiyan took the initiative to introduce her friends to him. This made him feel that Su Yiyan was trying to integrate him into her life and make him a part of her life. Late that night, the old family Hua residence was dark. It was quiet downstairs. There wasn't anyone around. Only in a corner of the courtyard, a person was waving a shovel miserably and digging a hole in despair. Suddenly, a series of footsteps came from behind. The figure waving the shovel froze. Like a rusty robot, he turned his head and looked over. After confirming that there was nothing behind him, he heaved a sigh of relief. Who knew that in the next second, a hand would be placed on his shoulder? The late-night gardener was speechless. "Ow, ow, ow. Don't come over, don't come over. If you come over again, I'll hit you. I'll really hit you. What are you shouting for in the middle of the night? Aren't you afraid of waking young master up?" The familiar scolding made Yu Zian's head go blank. He opened his eyes tentatively. After seeing the two people not far away, he asked in a daze, "Xiaoyang? Yanbai?" Gu Xiaoyang rolled his eyes at him. Who else could it be? Yu Xian's legs turned to jelly. He said angrily, "You two are too much. You came up behind me without saying anything and even patted my shoulder. Don't you know that you can scare me to death?" "Diske, so the two of us came over to show concern for you, but we were wrong? Yanbai, let's go. Don't bother with this ingrate. Are you here to show concern for me? You're obviously here to laugh at me." It would have been better if Yu Xian had not mentioned it. Gu Xiaoyang could not help but laugh out loud. "Ha, you two. You went out with young madam and got yourself such a job. I'm dying of laughter." Yu Xian saw him laughing and became even angrier. He raised the shovel and was about to shovel him. "What are you laughing at? Not only are you not helping me, you're even laughing at me. What kind of brother are you?" All right. Both of you, enough is enough." Zui Yanbai stood between the two of them and held Yu Xian's hand. He said with a headache, "What's going on? Didn't you accompany young master to Miss Su's house today? What happened? Why did Xian start farming as soon as he came back?" When Yu Xian heard the word farmer, he felt like he had nothing left to live for. Gu Xiaoyang couldn't help but laugh out loud again. "It's like this. Miss Su's best friend is coming back tomorrow. After lunch, the two of them invited each other to go shopping and buy gifts for her. Chapter 87. Gu Xiaoyang could totally understand Zui Yanbai's shock. "Yes, you didn't hear wrongly. Young master went shopping with Miss Su today. Miss Su even bought a lot of hats and scarves for young master, and young master put them all in his wardrobe." Zui Yanbai's face was full of surprise, but when he thought about Miss Su, he felt that it was only natural. In this world, only Miss Su could make their young master change for her willingly. If you want to go shopping, then go shopping. Young master won't punish you for no reason. Did you do something to make young master angry? Yu Xian looked embarrassed. Gu Xiaoyang coughed softly and said in disgust, "Speaking of which, the culprit is actually Hua Xiaofeng? What does this have to do with Hua Xiaofeng?" Yu Xian's face darkened. He told Gu Xiaofeng about how Hua Xiaofeng bribed a customer in the pet shop to pour water on Su Yiyan, forcing Su Yiyan to go to the bathroom to clean up. Then he followed Su Yiyan all the way to the bathroom door and said a lot of disgusting things to her. He told her everything in detail about how Hua Xiaofeng angered their future young madam and how she was killed. He even emphasized the words that Hua Xiaofeng used to attack their young master. You don't know, but Miss Su listened to Hua Xiaofeng at first. Although she was very impatient, she didn't want to talk to him. But when he mentioned young master, Miss Su's face suddenly changed. She looked at Hua Xiaofeng as if he wanted to eat someone. Then Hua Xiaofeng started to have bad luck. You didn't see how he looked like. He was almost pressed to the ground and beaten by Miss Su. Just thinking about it makes me happy. Yu Xian couldn't help but laugh at the end. In fact, when Hua Chenhuan asked him to be in charge of Su Yiyan's public relations, he didn't dare to have any objections on the surface, but he was actually not very happy about it. However, after this incident, Yu Xian had completely changed his view of Su Yiyan. He was no longer dissatisfied with Hua Chenhuan's previous arrangements. From now on, he had to work hard and cling onto the thigh of the future young madam so that he could reach the peak of his life. Hearing his words, Zui Yanbai thought of something else. Miss Su seemed to be especially thin and small when she was young. The Su family was worried that she would be bullied by her peers because of her thin and weak body, so they hired many masters to teach her martial arts. It's normal that Hua Xiaofeng couldn't control her. This time he really kicked an iron plate. Serves you right. You weren't there at the time, but I heard it clearly. It was his parents who begged Miss Su's parents to betroth Miss Su to him. In the end, they accused Miss Su of still having feelings for him and pretended to persuade Miss Su not to be with young master. Did they really think that no one knew what their family was up to? The Su family took the initiative to marry our young master. Hua Qihan probably can't even sleep well now, right? He even said that he was destined to be with that mistress, and that he could be friends with Miss Su even if they couldn't be husband and wife. I almost vomited when I heard it, let alone Miss Su. She's probably disgusted. Gu Xiaoyang sneered and mocked, like father like son. Don't their family have done enough disgusting things? Chapter 88. Yu Xian rubbed his nose guiltily and laughed dryly. Aren't I just curious? Don't you dare say that you're not curious about Miss Su's feelings towards Hua Xiaofeng at all? What do you think of our young master? The two of them choked, unable to refute. They were indeed curious about Su Yiyan's feelings towards Hua Qinhuan. When Hua Xiaofeng broke off the engagement, she suddenly announced that she wanted to marry Hua Qinhuan. It was quite thought-provoking. Not to mention Hua Xiaofeng's wishful thinking, they also had doubts in their hearts before this. They were worried that Su Yiyan's decision was just a spur-of-the-moment decision, a means for her to take revenge on the family Hua and Hua Xiaofeng. This was also the main reason why Yu Ziyan didn't jump out to help at the start, but instead sat on the sidelines and watched for a long time. He wanted to see how Su Yiyan would react to Hua Xiaofeng, and how she would react to his words. Most importantly, when the other party mentioned Hua Qinhuan, would she choose to silently agree or take the initiative to defend him? The results of his probing were delightful, but he also paid a painful price for it. Moreover, didn't Miss Su come out unscathed in the end? Don't think that he didn't notice that when he told her what Su Yiyan said to Hua Xiaofeng to defend him, his eyes were filled with adoration. After all, he had been by Hua Qinhuan's side for more than 10 years. How could Yu Ziyan not see that his young master was secretly happy under his expressionless face? In other words, in the end, the two young lovers were happy, but the one who was hurt was him, a single dog. It was really a tragedy. If Miss Su wasn't fine, do you think young master would just punish you as simple as farming? He would have sent you to the border and let you fend for yourself. Yu Ziyan was just saying it, he didn't really have much of an opinion about the punishment. What he cared more about was, oh, of all the things Miss Su likes, why does she have to like blue roses? This is great. Young master wants me to plant blue roses in this courtyard, and I have to plant them all. How long do I have to be busy for? Alright, be content. It's good enough that young master didn't ask you to plant blue roses in the manor. Yu Ziyan shuddered when he imagined the consequences. Even the small garden in front of him seemed much more pleasing to the eye. Zui Yanbai saw the look of fear on his face and tried to hold back her laughter. By the way, what happened to Hua Xiaofeng and the person who poured water on Miss Su in the pet shop? What else can we do? To dare to casually take a stranger's money and help him lure a girl out, he's either stupid or greedy by nature. I'm the best at dealing with such people. Since Gu Xiaoyang had said so much, the two of them could roughly guess what happened to that person, so they didn't ask any more questions. As for Hua Xiaofeng, Yu Ziyan chuckled. At that time I saw it clearly. Young madam kicked him 3 or 4 times. She didn't hold back at all. It's best to kick that bastard until he can no longer have sex. Let's see if he dares to talk about young master's disability in the future. Every time I see him I'll beat him up. Gu Xiaoyang and Zui Yanbai froze for a moment and shuddered unconsciously. They couldn't blame Yu Ziyan for completely changing his attitude towards Miss Su this time. Chapter 89. They secretly hoped that Hua Xiaofeng would be disabled. However, Hua Xiaofeng was the male protagonist of the original novel. Even though he had been kicked repeatedly by Su Yiyan, some of his functions were fortunately preserved. However, it would be difficult to use them in the future, and it would be difficult for him to use them in the next 1 or 2 years. Even so, Hua Xiaofeng, who woke up and learned of the diagnosis, was so angry that he almost fainted on the spot. Lying in bed, he yelled and screamed and overturned the table beside the bed. Pieces of melon and fruit were scattered all over the floor. It was a mess. B*TCH. I'm going to kill her. Mrs. Hua's eyes were slightly red and her heart ached. Xiaofeng, calm down. Don't hurt yourself. I'm already in this state. How can I calm down? Dad, you have to help me. That B*TCH has gone too far. She wants to end our family's bloodline. It would have been better if Hua Xiaofeng hadn't said anything. After hearing what he said, Hua Qihan's face darkened. He picked up a glass that had survived and threw it directly at Hua Xiaofeng. Hua Xiaofeng couldn't move and couldn't dodge at all. He could only face this terrible situation with a pale face. Mrs. Hua screamed and almost fainted on the spot. Fortunately, Hua Qihan didn't really want to kill his only son. The glass finally fell on the edge of the bed. With a crash, it fell to the ground and broke into pieces. There was a moment of dead silence in the ward. Mrs. Hua's legs went weak and she almost fell to the ground. Qihan, what are you doing? Xiaofeng is your son and he was just beaten up like this. How can you? Why can't I? I can't wait to stuff this guy back into your belly and pretend that I don't have a son. How can you say such a thing? Why can't I say it? Ask your good son what he has done. Mrs. Hua choked. Even if he did something wrong, that little B*TC shouldn't have hit him like that. It's considered light that they beat her up like this. Hua Qihan pulled up a holographic video with a dark face and directly showed it to his wife. The two protagonists in the video were very close to each other. It was a complete reenactment of the scene where Hua Xiaofeng blocked Su Yiyan and said a lot of things to her. Mrs. Hua's face turned red when she heard Su Yiyan's questions. Wasn't that right? Back then, it was because they had taken a fancy to Qing Xiuqin's family background and connections that they used the guise of being best friends to matchmake Su Yiyan and Hua Xiaofeng. The Su family thought about it for a while and agreed to the marriage. The Hua family naturally thought that Su Yiyan must be interested in their son to agree to the marriage. Over time, they almost tacitly agreed to this matter and selectively forgot that they were the ones who proposed the marriage in the first place. Mrs. Hua felt her face hurt when someone pointed it out so bluntly. Watching the video again, Hua Qihan was even angrier. Do you know who sent this video? Who is it? It's Hua Qinhuan's subordinate. I've lived for more than 40 years, and I've never been so humiliated like today. If it weren't for Hua Xiaofeng's half-dead appearance, he really wanted to kick his troublesome son to death. Chapter 90. Hua Xiaofeng's face turned pale when he saw the video. He said in disbelief, "Uncle. Uncle's people sent this? How could Uncle's people have this video? Then they also know what I said about Uncle. Now you know what fear is? Why didn't you think before you said it?" Hua Qihan was really angry with his stupid son. They were indeed laughing at Hua Qinhuan's disability in their hearts. Jokes aside, no one dared to say it out loud. This stupid thing mocked and ridiculed in front of someone's fiancé. Who else would they hit if not you? What angered him the most was that even he, an outsider, could see that when Hua Xiaofeng first said those words, Su Yiyan's expression was very impatient and full of sarcasm and disdain. However, this stupid thing seemed to be blind and expressed his magnanimity one-sidedly. In the end, he even involved the topic of Hua Qinhuan. What a pig's brain. If Hua Qinhuan released this video, not only would Hua Xiaofeng become a laughing stock, but he, as his father, would also become a laughing stock. Stay in the hospital for treatment for the next few days. After you're discharged, stay at home and rest well. Don't worry about the company's affairs. Hua Xiaofeng and his mother's faces changed drastically. Mrs. Hua couldn't help but scream, "Qihan, you can't do this. Xiaofeng just joined the company not long ago. What will the others think of him? What will the others say when he returns to the company in the future? Help him think of a way, think of a way." Think of a way? I can't even protect myself. How can I protect such a stupid thing? Do you think our family is not dying fast enough? They planned it. They must have planned it. This is a conspiracy, Dad. This must be Hua Qinhuan's conspiracy. They don't want me to join the company and inherit the Hua Corporation. I was set up by them. So what if it's a conspiracy? Why did you jump into such an obvious trap? Where's your brain? Did you lose your brain from talking about a girlfriend? After scolding him, Hua Qihan seemed to have thought of something and said coldly, "What about his girlfriend? Didn't he say that he had gone shopping with her before the accident? Now that Xiaofeng is lying here, where is she?" She. When she heard Hua Qihan mention that woman, Mrs. Hua's face darkened. "I just used Xiaofeng's phone to call her a few times, but she didn't answer. It seems that she blocked me. You've just been admitted to the hospital and they've already blacklisted you. This is the woman you chose." With that, Hua Qihan left with a cold face, leaving Mrs. Hua and Hua Xiaofeng at a loss. After a long while, Mrs. Hua seemed to have finally found her voice. Heartbroken, she said, "Xiaofeng, what's wrong with you? Why do you want a wild girl who doesn't care about you instead of a rich girl?" "Mom, why are you, me too? Did I say something wrong? If you hadn't been so willful, the situation wouldn't be like this. Mom, you're too naive. It's obvious that the cripple deliberately set me up. Even if I go to her, they will definitely come to me." That you're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.